All right. It doesn't take a lot of talent. It takes a lot of determination to drink more beer.
Oh, yes, it does. And I'm telling you, sometimes,
Yeah. And when is y'all's golf tournament?
Well, it's coming up. It's the 27th of September, and it's going to be down the street at Jersey Meadows. So I'm telling you right now, we're doing real good. We got about 23 teams signed up, but we are still looking for sponsorships and stuff like that. After the tournament, we're coming back here, and we're going to have a nice dinner. And then we're going to do the awards and all that.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it's a great time. And I'm telling you, I love to see even the older vets that go out there and play the Vietnam vets.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, sometimes I get a little frustrated because they do better than us,
Well, they have all that time to play golf during the week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. They got that time. So one unique thing about your golf tournament that a lot of them are not, it's on a Saturday.
Yes.
So that means there's no excuse for you being at work. There's no excuse for you not being able to come out. You can come out and play golf on a Saturday. You're already going to play golf anyway. You might as well do it for a good cause, right?
Right.
There you go.
And I'm telling you, we're super cheap. We keep it low so that way the average veteran can afford to come out and play. And I'm telling you, we just want to pretty much an excuse to come out there and play.
Yeah, it's an excuse to hang out with your friends.
Oh, yeah. And
if you're a company out there and you're looking to spend some money at the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter of the year, we know you all are. This is a great place to do it. 8790, their golf tournament. We have a flyer right here for it. What we'll do is we'll link this during the show so that you can go there and see it and sign up, sponsor, reach out to the post, let them know that you want to be a part of it, and we can go there. But I know that you have another important event coming up as well, which is the Boots and Heroes Guide.
And let me talk a little bit about Catherine. Catherine is my counterpart. She's the president for the auxiliary. And I'm telling you, she's pretty much my wife here. I'm married and my wife comes here. She's a member. But I'm telling you, she helps me. She backs me up with everything I do. And I'm telling you, they put I think the best show here is definitely our Boots and Heroes show. You want to talk a little bit about that, Catherine?
This is our 7th annual Boots and Heroes event. We call it a gala now. And we're reaching out to the public to be part of this with us, to honor our veterans, past and present. And part of the deal, we have 6 honorees. They're from Houston, that we're honoring them for what they've done while they're in the service and after service life, and how they supported veterans in the community. One of them is named Van Tang. He was executive chief for HBD for many years. He is now the executive. No, I don't know what he is. He's with Metro.
Yes.
He's their key person.
He's the one that gives you a ticket if you speed. Just saying. That's what he does.
No, actually.
Or he makes everybody give you tickets. Right. They work for him now.
He's working on trying to make the bus rides and everything safer because they're having so many issues on the buses. And takes the homeless and finds them places to go. It's an amazing program they have. So we're honored to have him. So he's one of them.
Right.
And we have a 102-year-old female vet who's going to be with us, Miss Lee. And we have another one. She was a WAC, Air Force WAC. An interesting lady for what she's done. And we have a few more, some of our own. So
right. But we have Sherman Chow from
Sherman Chow. She's going to be our MC again this year.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
So if somebody was interested in coming to the event, we're going to put up at the events there. But the biggest question, you don't have to be a veteran to attend that event, right?
Oh, no.
You can just be
It's
anyone to
something
come
to
in. So I think that's important that
Mhm.
people know you don't have to just be a veteran. You just have to support veterans. So you can buy a ticket even if you didn't serve and still come support, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And I'm telling you, we are going to do some auction items. And I'm telling you, we have great donors with the Houston Lifestyle Show and Rodeo. You want to talk about a little bit about that?
Yes, the steering committee of the Houston Livestock and Rodeo is providing us their baseball stakes for the dinner.
Oh,
And we
nice.
have 3 other restaurants that are providing the sides, and they're local.
I
And
love
then
it.
we have a VIP room down here, depending what level you're in. And of course, Sherman will be here and all our honorees and their families. And we're also doing a scholarship. This is a youth year in honor of Michael Contreras, who was one of our members that passed away last year. So we're giving a $2,500 scholarship to his brother's daughter's daughter. niece.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's our initial scholarship. And just talk a little bit about my Michael. He was a great mentor here. He was a quartermaster for the district, for the BFW, and a quartermaster here. And I'm telling you, he passed last year
Mhm.
of cancer. But I'm telling you, we're going to name this scholarship after him.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the first year, we want to kind of link it to his
Yeah.
family.
Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
of course, of
Yeah,
course.
but it's a great cause. Like I said, I love doing this, and I'm telling you, just to keep his memory alive for everything he did here for the
Yeah.
post. Yes.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a lot going on at 8790. And if anybody in Houston knows anything about the VFW, you guys are involved in a lot of things. Like you said earlier, you help the community. You guys are involved almost everywhere. If there's something going on, we see you guys out there. So if you're out there and you want to support a veteran organization or you want to be a part of something big, the Boots and Gala don't have to be a veteran to do it. And by the way, you don't have to be a veteran to play golf either. You just can't come out there and be like a pro. All right.
Yeah.
Remember, we still got rules on that. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I'll tell you, everybody, the more the merrier. Come out, have a great time.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
we're all about.
Yep,
mean-
absolutely. Well, we appreciate you guys allowing us to be here tonight. So like I said, our guest can tell his story and we can let, everybody out there in our audience know more about him. I'm glad that we got to introduce you both to our audience, and hopefully we can get you guys more people to play golf and come in and support the gala.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. guys.
Remember, members. We're always
Yes.
recruiting.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely want to say I'm showing the website here for 8790. They have steak night here, first Friday of the month, hamburger hot dog night, third Friday of the month. So VFW Post 8790, that's where it's happening in Houston. I mean, this podcast is trying to get out to all the different veteran organizations in the Houston area when we have a Houston guest. So for this week, we have a Houston guest. So we're coming out to the places where veterans go. So this week we're at the VFW Post 8790. I almost said it. Almost said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Sizzling Sundays, dollar hot dogs, casino nights, the stuff y'all got going on here, RG, is amazing. So thank you very much for all that you do.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you for being
Thank
here.
you for that. Having
Yeah.
us.
For sure. All right, you ready to get the show started?
Let's go.
All right, hey, thank you all so much. We're going to get the show started.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please to note the following statement.
Man, it's Thursday, 7 p.m. Triple Threat Vet Podcast. We're here live at VFW Post 8790. I want to make sure that I thank our guest from last week, Robert Romelli. Came on. He was one of the soldiers that was with me in the 15-month deployment back in 07-09. And we're going to have our guest live here, Chris Luna. But before I hand y'all over to the most powerful co-host in all of veteran radio and podcast, I want to make sure we talk about the Battle for the Paddle coming up on September 13th. That is the Dandy Dietz Memorial Classic Cook-Off. Great. It's $50,000 in cash and prizes. It's a great event to honor veterans. So if you have a chance to get out there, please come out. And then that Monday, September 15th, come out and play golf with us at the Project Zero 4th Annual Memorial Golf Scramble. So without further ado, let me kick it over to Matt Johnson. What's going on, brother?
Well, I mean, already told everybody hi. We're here. It's Thursday. It's 7. I'm just excited to hear what kind of rant Al's going to go on this week.
Super easy. This is going to be real easy. I just want to put out to my social media people, all my Facebook people, stop posting pictures of your kid's first day of school. No one gives a fuck. Nobody cares about your little ugly ass kids that probably ain't going to graduate no way. They going to end up incarcerated probably with 5 baby mamas. They ain't going to graduate. Like, you stop posting. Nobody gives a fuck about their first day of kindergarten and their first day. Nobody cares, man. I'm so tired of seeing people's children posted on Facebook with my kids are first day of 7th grade. No one gives a shit, bro. Nobody cares about your ugly ass children. Stop posting their pictures, or ask a neighbor, is my kid photogenic? If they're like, I don't know, don't put them on social. I got to look at their faces. I don't care. As long as when I come through their drive-through line at Burger King, they don't put mayo on my shit and mess up my order. That's pretty much what they're going to be doing. They ain't going to college. So just stop posting. And then my next little piece is to the people in the gym. If you're in the gym and you're hogging equipment and you ain't working out, get the fuck out. I'm so tired of people just walking around. It's always the old people. Nothing against old people. I'm old too. But you people, man, stop hogging up the fucking bench or lift some weights. Don't just sit on it and play on your phone. Get the fuck out the way. Go pose in a mirror somewhere else. No one gives a shit. So stupid people in the gym and ugly ass parents and stupid parents putting their kids on Facebook. No one gives a shit. Just want to throw that out there. No one cares.
So, ugly kids ain't gonna make it through school anyway. Might as well just start fast food career now.
That's what they're going to be doing, flipping burgers. At the end of the day, I'm just tired of seeing it. Like, God, dog, first day of school, I seen it, boy. Everybody, look at my kid.
Yeah.
And they got little pictures and little frames. Like, this is my kid, first day of 7th grade. No one gives a shit. He probably ain't gonna make it past the 8th. So just, whatever. I'm gonna bring these pictures. I'm saving photos. I'm taking receipts. So when these kids drop out or they end up incarcerated, I'm gonna post that picture with their mugshot. I'm like, shouldn't have put them on social media. You're jinxing yourself.
That's very true.
So
how many pictures did you post on first day of school?
0.
Really?
I don't. If you go on my Facebook, I don't really put my family. I don't put my kids' pictures on there because there's too many weirdos and shit out there. I'm not. I love my daughter, so I don't put my daughter on social media.
So you're saying those other parents don't care about their kids?
There's too many weirdos in the world, bro. I'm not putting my daughter what grade she's in, her fucking birth date, her damn pictures. Like, you're just asking for somebody to pull up in a minivan and be like, "Hey, little girl, I got Cartoon Network. Hop in." You know what I mean? Shit. Anyway, I digress.
Well, it's good to have you here, man. It'd be even better to have you here.
It would be cool.
We'll work on it.
We'll do a live one at the barbecue at the Danny Deets. I'll be live.
I mean,
at that. That's only a couple weeks away.
I'll let you slide.
I'm sorry.
I do want to say today, though, one more time, thank you to VFW Post 8790. We really appreciate you letting us be here. If you guys aren't aware of what VFWs in your community do, they've got event centers. Some of them have cool bars, good selection, and they're cheap drinks, y'all. They're not like the club you're going to where you're paying $25 for one. But you can go out and support them. It helps them when they bring money in. It helps them to do stuff for the community. So just go check them out. Say hi. Everybody says they love veterans. Prove it. Go say hi to the ones at the VFW. But today, super excited. So, Chris, this is our first in-person live podcast. And we get to do it with a retired Navy chief. There you go. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm excited to hear your story. And what we like to do is really bring people in to get to know about you. So tell us a little about where you're from, where you grew up, and kind of what kind of stuff you got into when you was a kid coming up through those younger years.
Well, we won't get into everything I did as a kid, but
Why not?
yeah, because it'd be a long list. But I did grow up in a small town in Oklahoma. There is nothing there. That's why I'm not there. That's why I'm in Texas, the great state of Texas. And yeah, but no, I did. I grew up in a small town, not much to offer except for go work in the oil fields or follow your parents' footsteps and this and that. So my dream was to go to Notre Dame till I found out that I'm not over 6 feet tall. I'm not over 200 pounds, and I'm not very fast, and I'm not Catholic. So yeah, my dreams of going to Notre Dame just didn't happen. So my next best option was to go join the military, and that's what I did. So
Nice. So what kind of things did you growing up though? I mean, if you want to go to Notre Dame, obviously you probably played football.
Yes.
I'm guessing if you're not 6'2", you're not there, but was football important? Was there other things that you're into? Like, what were the things that you got into trouble with in the small town in Oklahoma?
Well, so I'll start with the good stuff. So yes, I did play football. I made all district, regionals, stuff like that. But we were a small school, 2A school. You know, we're not a 5A or 6A school, so we're not going to get those types of scholarships. I also ran track, made it to state 3 out of 4 years. Never won because I also didn't care. I was just like, okay, I made it to state, and
I got out of school today.
yeah, I mean, that was kind of it. As far as getting into trouble, well, back in my time, beer in Oklahoma was 3.2. And if you go about 30, 45 minutes down to Texas, it was 6.0 beer. So coming down, sneaking down to Texas and getting beer. And of course I wasn't of age, but it was kind of cool because my dad was in the military. He was a Navy chief as well. So with that military ID, and back then a lot of people didn't know how to read them. So they would just sell me beer by showing them a military ID.
There you go.
So it kind of worked out good.
They never figured out the birth date was on the back.
They just looked at it, and they would look at it and flip it back and forth, and they would sell me beer.
Seems legit.
So I would seriously go in there and show them an ID and walk out, and I would pay for it. So I didn't steal it. I would pay for it. And then, yeah.
I love it, man.
And then chasing women, of course.
So for you, what was it? I know that you said you couldn't go to Notre Dame. Dream was not there, but what got you interested in joining the military in the first place? Was there something specific, or was it the fact that you weren't going to college?
It was pretty much the fact that I wasn't going to college. My parents couldn't afford it. I mean, we were poor. So I didn't want to put the burden on my parents to have to take out loans and this and that. I did get a partial academic scholarship. I got a partial football scholarship, but we were poor, and I wasn't going to do that to my parents. So I said, you know what? I'll go in the military. I thought I was going to be able to go into physical therapy, and I was like, hey, you know what? I can go down the sports medicine path, maybe become a trainer at Notre Dame. And that's kind of what I thought. Well, then I get into the military, and they're like, oh, well, you need to have a C school to go into physical therapy. And I was like, oh, well, the recruiter didn't tell me that. And it's like, okay. So that's kind of how it got started. But it really was. It was, you know, we were poor, and I didn't want my parents to have to pay for school. And I figured I'd go into the military and make something of it and figure out my dream from there. And it never panned out, but it worked out for the best.
Yeah. So you're welcome, by the way. Me and Hero, the reason you didn't know you needed a C school. So
What's a C school?
Did a good job. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. And to be honest with you though, I'm glad I didn't go to a C school.
really,
So I ended up finishing like third in my class, and the two guys before me had a C school. And so I was the first one to pick orders. So yeah, they were like top of the class, anybody with 90 and above, you get to pick your orders. And so I said, who deploys the most? And they're like, 2nd Marine Division. So since I was first to pick, I was like, send me to 2nd Marine Division because I want to deploy.
Yeah.
I want to test myself, see if I'm the best of the best. But they kind of lied to me. 2nd Marine Division does not deploy the most. You got to go to Okie to deploy all the time.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
They were like 2nd Marine Division.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
They're like, who needs bodies?
Yeah.
2nd Marine.
Yeah.
They deploy the most. Yeah, fuck.
They were in the back.
Send him there. Send him
Students
there.
about to volunteer to go to the 2nd Marine Division.
Yep.
Y'all better tell him he deploys every week.
Yep. Go get some sand fleas and chiggers.
100%.
So going back before that, so you went into the recruiter and you wanted to be a corpsman because you wanted to go physical therapy, and it was you walked in, they were like, "Yep."
Oh yeah, I was an easy recruit. That's why I didn't find out. You know, when I went to Corps School, everybody's like, So my enlistment was for 5 years. And then I get up there and they're like, oh, I got a bonus for signing up for 6 years. And, you start hearing everybody, I didn't get jack because I was an easy recruit. I walked in and said, sign me up. This is what I want. And Al was a CB. That was my other option, was possibly going CB.
Yeah.
So my brother was a Marine. My dad was in the Navy. And this was kind of like a meet in the middle type thing. My dad was in the Navy and I can go serve with the Marines. So this may work out great. And it did end up working out phenomenal.
Yeah. Best of both worlds.
Best of both.
There you go.
Yep.
So for you, small town Oklahoma, right? There's not a lot going on there. How big was your town?
So we have one stoplight in my town. Well, the town I actually live in, my house is, there's no stoplights. My high school town has one stoplight, and I graduated with 61 people.
So that's where I was getting to. So graduating class of 61, everybody knows everybody.
Yes.
Everybody's family knows everybody.
Yes.
You got into trouble, but everybody knew you did it, right? What was your transition into the Navy like then? Because going from 60 to now basically walking into New York City, if you're thinking about it, right? Coming from a small town going into the Navy.
So probably the biggest shock was jumping on an airplane. I'd never touched an airplane in my life. Yeah,
Wow.
Like I said, we were poor. Every time, so I had relatives in New York. Every time we went to New York, we drove. So I'd never touched an airplane before. So that was a whole new experience. And flying into Chicago, holy crap. I mean, and there's nobody there to guide you. You just got to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
It was a culture shock. But to be honest, getting shoved around and, well, not shoved around, but you're herded like cattle, yelled at, this and that, people in your face, getting told to do push-ups and everything. It didn't bother me. I did sports all my life. 2-a-days out in the sun. I did wrestle a few years. So the physical aspect, the mental aspect, it was a piece of freaking cake, to be honest with you. Probably the worst thing I hate is the front leaning rest position. And for those of you that don't know, it is the push-up position where you are just stuck like this with your arms extended out. That is the worst position to be in.
The thinking position.
Yes.
Yeah. So for you, I think it'd probably be safe to say like being away from home was probably the hardest, right? Because being in Oklahoma 2-a-days, you were playing both ways on the football team. So you were tired all the time. That was easy. But how was it being away from home for the first time?
So it was good and bad, right? I mean, part of it was, hey, I'm going to make something different in my life, right? Because again, there's really nothing there. You see some of the same people that graduated before you that's still sitting at the same bar doing the same thing, or maybe they go work in the oil field, or maybe they got a scholarship, but it didn't work out and they come back and they're sitting at the same bar doing the same thing. So some of that stuff I didn't miss. But having the freedom to get out and go drink and to go chase women and maybe miss family a little bit, because I was pretty close with my family, that, you do get that kind of loneliness. And this is my first real time, I guess, away from home without a support structure. But it's a little bit different. But it was manageable.
Yeah, you had the schedule, be here at this time, so still structure to it. So what year was it you went in?
96. I left the day after Christmas in 96.
It's the best year to go. No kidding. I went into December 10th.
I was December.
We were in boot camp at the same time.
Yep.
I graduated Valentine's Day.
We graduated in March.
Yeah.
First, pretty early in March.
I'd never been somewhere where I shoveled so much snow in my life.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that was because I came from Texas. So you go up to Great Lakes. That was a culture shock.
Oh yeah. Yeah. One day I closed my eyes, my eyelids froze shut.
I mean,
blinking.
You experienced more cold in Oklahoma than we did down into Texas, right? But not like that.
Not
coming
like
off
that.
the Great Lakes.
Yes. Yeah. Nothing like that. And the wet snow and yeah.
Nice. So you went from boot camp across the street, right, to go to A school, or did you come to Texas?
No, we went across the street. It was still
Across
up
the
there in
street.
Great Lakes.
So then tell us what that was like going into A school and starting to learn that, like what was the first thing you remember about starting to learn what the medical profession is in the Navy and going through that schooling?
So luckily I was kind of an all male division in boot camp. So that was kind of nice. No offense to the ladies. But just
Temptation for this dude.
yeah, that part of it. And then you just didn't have to put up with it when you're going through some of the training. And don't get me wrong, there are some ladies out there that can far out PT a lot of the men, to include myself, but just some of the other stuff that goes along with it. So I was glad to be an all male. But yes, we did go through a co-ed class, and there was drama that came with that. But going into the medical field, the downside to it, because again, my dream was to kind of go down the physical therapy route. My dreams kind of got shattered because I wasn't going to go into a C school. But on the flip side, I was going to learn a trade. The downside, it was very medical, in a hospital type setting, stuff that we're getting trained. It wasn't combat. It wasn't trauma related. It was medically related. So that was kind of a letdown whenever I first came in, going through my first initial type training. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but later on that ended up turning.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going through before all that happens. So there's really no need to teach those battlefield techniques unless you go green side, right? Then you learned a little bit, but I'm sure that changed a lot. So for you, what was the first duty station you went to after?
So first duty station was 2nd Marine Division in
Yeah.
Camp Lejeune, or Camp Lejeune, whichever way you want to
Lejeune.
pronounce it, but Lejeune is the proper way. And I am so glad I started off with Marine Division. Marine Division, it's you and a whole bunch of Marines that are out there, and they all depend on you. So you PT, you are held to their standards. There's a such thing called Marine regs. So you choose to wear their uniform, to abide by their physical standards, to abide by their grooming standards. So I was one of the few that chose to go Marine regs. So I wore their uniform, except their dress blues. I could wear alphas and everything else, but I had to be held by their PT standards or grooming standards. But I was with the infantry. I happened to be with 0341s, the mortarmen. So I learned how to FDC, Fire Direction Center. I learned how to set up a mortar. I learned everything. And I absolutely loved it. My PT was awesome. I had a phenomenal doctor that taught me so much trauma medicine. I ended up getting to go through a goat course and a pig lab. So the pig lab, I mean, for all you PETA people, sorry, you're going to get your feelings hurt. But they took us out and they did some trauma to these pigs, which was the closest thing to human anatomy, real feeling of blood, flesh, and all this stuff. Let's face it, they fucked these pigs up and we had to keep them alive.
Sounds like my high school prom date. Like,
Yeah. I was about to.
did a lot of trauma to that pig. You know what I'm saying?
Al was the same way. Al joined the Navy to be a mechanic. I mean,
Yeah.
It went so well. And then all of a sudden he finds himself running around the Marines too. And so like, that's a lot until I met him of what he knew as well.
Mhm.
And so if you everybody that knows Al, I mean, would you disagree, Al? You fit more of a Marine profile than a Navy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He's in that arena. And so when I met Al, I was like, this dude is in the wrong branch of service. Like, he's a little intense, dude. Are you sure you're not a Marine? And then he's like, I served with them down. Oh, like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I got it.
But when you look at the shock and awe factor, to see blood and guts your first time, would you rather it be on a pig or your buddy right
For
sitting
sure.
there next to you? So to kind of get through that shock factor, it's great to do it on that. And then to see how many layers of skin and tissue and all this stuff that you can stick your hand through to get to the vital organs, to put quick clot and all this other stuff is absolutely amazing. And I would have never thought that I could stick my whole freaking hand into somebody to stop this life-threatening bleed. I would have thought I'm doing more damage than anything else. So going through this pig
Yeah.
lab, and then I also went through a goat course. It's phenomenal training, and I wish almost everybody could go through it that's serving in a combat unit. And again, I know it's too expensive to do it, and not everybody can do it, but it is a life-saving training tool that saves people's lives.
Wow. So that is very interesting. Interesting. So did you hunt a lot in Oklahoma?
Nope. We were
'Cause that
poor.
was-
We didn't own guns, which is another flip side. A lot of poor people had to have guns to survive and
Yeah.
bring in their meat and stuff like that. But my mom did not like guns. She did not like guns in the house. So I did not touch a weapon until I joined the military.
Because that's what I was thinking when you said that. I was like, we went to go work on pigs, sticking a hand in. I'm thinking hunting, Oklahoma, but you never done that before.
Never did.
So the first time you had to work on the pig, what was that like? Like when they were like, it's going down, stick your hand in there. What are you doing?
I was like, oh shit. Like this thing's gonna die. Because I mean, it's just blood and guts. And then they're like, save its life. And you literally you stick your hand in there and you kind of open up to see where the wound's at. And you're looking at all its freaking organs. And you're like, oh shit, okay. Pull it open, take some quick clot to stop that bleeding deep down inside them. And it stops the bleeding. And then you're putting tourniquets on and pressure dressings and this and that, doing venous cut downs and all this other stuff. And yeah, the pig may barely be alive, but that mofo's alive so that you can get it back to a surgeon that is now going to do the rest of the stuff to keep it alive
Yeah.
and maybe save that person's life and maybe save that arm or that leg or whatever, because that's kind of the other thing. So you see all these Vietnam vets that have tons of amputees. One of the biggest things in combat medicine that we have learned in the 2000s is tourniquets. Tourniquets save lives. So guess what? If you're driving down here in Houston, down I-45, and there's a motor vehicle accident, do not be afraid to freaking throw a tourniquet on, okay? One, the proper way to throw a tourniquet on is enough pressure to control the bleeding. You don't just take that thing like Al. Al likes to work out in the gym, right? So if Al takes that tourniquet and just cranks that damn thing down as hard as he can, that's not the way to do it. You
Yeah.
just do enough pressure to control the bleeding, because they're going to get to a freaking hospital here pretty soon where they can then do the rest of the trauma surgeons and all that other stuff. It's not going to be hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
So tourniquets save lives. And that's probably the biggest thing that we have learned that combat medicine has done in our generation versus Vietnam veterans is throw a damn tourniquet on it. And guess what? You can throw your own tourniquet on. I don't have to be the guy to throw a tourniquet on.
It's interesting because we all listen to podcasts and hear stories and people talking. And I've heard a lot of those battlefield scenarios where someone's like, I got to that guy and he put his tourniquet on. And I never realized put it on and get it going. So that's interesting. So this is what, 97, 98 when you're going through that?
So that was the pig lab and stuff was probably about 98-ish. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. 9/11 happens. Where were you?
9/11 happens. I was actually on my couch in San Antonio, Texas. I was actually an instructor for pre-hospital trauma life support. So we used to fly around and train reservists in pre-hospital trauma life support. And I was an instructor for combat casualty care course. We called it C4 in San Antonio, Texas, out at Camp Bullis, where we taught combat medicine.
And so 9/11 hits. You walk into the schoolhouse that day. What are you thinking?
So I actually had an Army colonel. I didn't go into the schoolhouse that day. So one funny story. I'll go back to one funny story first. So everybody's freaked out, right? We all go on lockdown. Everybody's pulling security and everything like that. Well, and I'm an E4. I'm a little third-class petty officer. So they want a 100% ID check on everybody that comes into the building that you do not recognize. Well, here comes this guy in civilian clothes, and I stop him and ask him for his ID, and he goes, "Don't you know who I am?" And I was like, "Well, no, sir. That's why I'm asking for your ID, sir." And he goes, "Well, I own this building." And I was like, "Well, sir, I don't know who you are. Do you know who I am?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, that's why I need to see your ID." He goes, "Well, I'm Colonel so-and-so, and I own this building." I was like, "Well, I need to see your ID, sir." And he chewed my ass. So then later on, my colonel pulls me up to my office we had a Air Force senior master sergeant who was our senior enlisted leader. And both of them start kind of questioning me and start chewing my ass. And I said, "Well, y'all said these are the rules. Anybody that we do not recognize, you want a 100% ID check." I said, "I didn't recognize it. So I'm doing my job." And they're like, "Well, blah, blah, blah. And he's the colonel." And so I was like, "Then y'all have two choices. You either want me to uphold the standard or you don't put my ass on duty anymore." Y'all got a choice. And they didn't put me on duty anymore. So, yeah. But so later on, I did. I had just been away. I had left 2nd Marine Division in May of 2000. So I just came off a med float over in Europe and all that stuff on a med float with the 24th MU, Special Operations Capable. And so I'd been away just over a year. And so I told them, I said, send me back.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what do you mean? I was like, look, I'm single. This is what I know. I just left 2nd Marine Division. I'm teaching trauma. So I'm the prime person to go. And finally, the colonel set me down and, he kind of made sense. And he goes, yes, but you're an instructor and you're a proficient instructor. And this is your job. Your job is now. And so what I had also learned is, reservists are the first ones in something crazy like this. Reservists are the first ones to deploy. And he goes, and that's what you're doing. You're going around training reservists. So they are going first, and then he gives the active duty time to kind of fulfill and do their plans to go do that. So he goes, that is your job, is to go train reservists. So no, I'm not going to send you back to 2nd Marine Division. You're going to finish out your tour here.
I mean, you're thinking like everybody else. You're like, they're about to leave. I need to be on the plane. I want to go with them, which is what everybody was thinking,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
That's a unique way to put it, though.
Yep. And to be honest, maybe I'm alive today because of that. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't know. So
So how much?
Or a
time-
better way to look at it would be there's probably a ton of motherfuckers probably alive because of the training that you gave other medics and corpsmen to be able to go down range and do the job that they do. So you look at it from another aspect. Had you have deployed with second MARDIV and been gone, you're just one person, but you touched and trained hundreds of students that came through that course to be able to be combat medics and to be able to do trauma. So you had more of a reach from the position you were in, vice you being one man downrange helping Marines.
you know what, Al, 25 years has passed and I've never heard that perspective. So thank you.
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for that.
100%.
He does a little bit good
Right.
every day,
Yeah.
but that's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
In 25 years, I've never heard
Yeah,
that.
you think about it from a bigger perspective, from a big picture perspective. Absolutely.
There you go. So how much time did you have left there and you had to finish up? And then once you finished there, where did you go?
So I ended up extending an extra year. I ended up meeting my wife, got married, and I ended up extending a year. So I ended up doing 4 years there because I took on an extra position where I ended up being I took on a role as the military. So we bridged, there were 2 programs. You had basic trauma life support and pre-hospital trauma life support. And I bridged those 2 programs together because they were both trauma programs. But I didn't see the need for 2 different programs. So I helped bridge those. And I ended up being the military coordinator for that, working with the civilian side. So I stayed an extra year to help do that. And then I left and I went back with the Marines, but this time I went on the logistics side. So I went to, at the time it was called Third Forward something. I'm just gonna go with the new name, Marine Logistics Group. So I know it's FSSG, but I can't even remember the old terminology now. And I went with 9th ESB, so an Engineer Support Battalion, which to me, it kind of worked out because it was the closest thing on the logistics side that ran like a division type mentality. Everything else was, no offense to the Marines, but the logistics side is kind of soft. So being with the Engineer Support Battalion was the closest thing to a division type mentality. So I'm kind of glad I ended up there, and I had a badass sergeant major that was really, really good. I ended up having a colonel that made it all the way up to gunny before he ended up going over and becoming a colonel, worked his way up to lieutenant colonel. So I got super lucky with my chain of command, but yeah, so I ended up with the Marine Logistics Group.
And so what year did you make it there?
So I ended up there in 2004.
And then how long after you got there did you deploy?
So I was supposed to deploy in 2007 to Iraq. I ended up getting pulled off of that to go to the group sergeant's office. And I struggled with that one because I did the entire workup. and I got pulled at the last minute. And there were some casualties on that program or that deployment, and they actually called me back to help go with the do the CACO type calls. And it was the EOD units that we had that took some casualties. So I lived with a lot of regret for a while, because I was like, I should have been there. Maybe they could have made it because I was there, blah, blah, blah. But let's skip past that. And so I ended up deploying a year later. We stood up. They ended up making, this is when they transitioned and they created CLBs, Combat Logistic Battalions. So this was the first CLB in Okinawa. And so I was part of the group that stood up the first Combat Logistics Battalion in Okinawa, CLB 4, which fell under Combat Logistics Regiment 3. And we deployed to Iraq from 07 to 08. And so, yeah, I didn't go to 07 or 08.
So to go back a little bit, though, so you said that, and what was the reason they pulled you from that first deployment?
To go work at the group surgeon's office.
And so from going there and not being able to go into that deployment, like what was the conversation like, when they're like, you're not going, you did the whole workup, like they just said they needed you there?
Pretty much. And it's like, I was the LPO. I was like, how do I tell my guys? And I was one of the very few people. It was me and a chief that was married. I was like, how do I tell these guys that I'm not deploying? Are they going to think that let's be frank, do they think I pussed out because I'm married?
I pulled the marriage card.
Yeah. That's honestly what I thought they were going to think of me. So I was like, no, y'all can't pull me. How do I train my guys every day, day in and day out? And then at the very last minute, you pull me off? Like, this is BS, and this is what they're going to think of me. Yeah, it was a hard pill to swallow. There wasn't much I could say, but they're like, you're going to go up, and for anybody that doesn't know, the G shops are up where the generals and all the colonels and all the big wigs and stuff are, where they make all the big decisions. And I'm like, what am I going to do up there?
Yeah, that was going to be my question, is what was the point of you being there?
I mean, the only thing I can say is I've always been good at my job. And did I do a damn good job up there? Yes, I did do a damn good job. And it paid off later. I did it. I ended up doing 3 years there, and I was not going to deploy at the end of that 3 years. But I extended a year to go to Iraq.
We've lost sound. We've lost sound. We don't have any sound. What do I do? What do I do with my hands? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Oh shit, it's me again. I don't know what's going on. Well, let's just talk for a minute then. Let me tell you about Thailand. I don't think anybody can hear me. We're going to talk about Thailand. Let me tell you about the lady boys in Thailand and how amazing Thailand was. Well, this is fucking awkward. Why? This the one-man show. Nobody else is on here but me. Let's do this. Chase, you can hear me? I'm the only one who can be heard. This is awesome. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Chase, you can hear me, bro? That's what's up, bro. How's everything going? I don't know what's going on. It's just this is definitely not going well. Yeah, they left me alone, Carlos. It's about to go down. So apparently we're having technical difficulties, people. I hate it. I'm hoping they get it figured out. I am a one-man army of one. Is that what they say in the Army? I am the army of one. So I'm waiting for them to figure it out. But currently right now we're having technical difficulties. So my apologies to everybody out there watching. Yeah, here we are. Here we are.
I mean, I'm.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Hello? No.
I can hear you guys now.
You can hear me, Albert?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on, bro. I was about to just
So listen, in Texas, we had a really bad storm and it decided to say it was going to rain. So we're out for a minute. So why don't you tell everybody a cool story about one time in Thailand, like Ladyboys or something? Isn't that what you were talking about?
Let me tell you. So it was crazy. Like it looked amazing. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And
I can hear you.
Bought her a drink, him a drink, her a drink.
Or him?
I don't really know.
You don't know?
I know once the little necklace wrap came off, motherfucker had an Adam's apple. I knew right then this was not the dirt road I want to travel down. I did it anyway, of course. You know what I'm saying? You gotta try it so you know if you like it.
I feel you. All good. Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. So we're going to take a quick break. We're getting the other one up here. So if you're out there, stay tuned, stay with us. The weather got us in Houston, Texas. So we'll be right back.
On average, we lose 22 veterans to suicide every single day. These heroes who once fought for our freedom now battle invisible wounds. Mission 22 is dedicated to healing our veterans and providing them the support they need. As a leader in our community, we stand with Mission 22 as we believe in giving back to those who have given up so much for us. It's our way of saying thank you for your service. For more information, visit mission22.com.
My brother Paul went one way and I went the other, and now he's famous. I want to be famous too, so I'm riding around telling everyone about Earl.net. Go take the quiz! Go take the quiz! After we win this, I found this place called Louisiana or Louisiana. I can't tell which it is, but I'm gonna buy it with my VA loan.
Get your head in the game!
No money down, man. Okay, hear me out. My brother George is out there trying to win the revolution, but I told him, how are we gonna pay for all this, man?
Earl, quit talking and fund the fight!
I'm working on it, George.
Hey guys, I know how to fund the war. Get on AOL and go to Earl.net. we might be able to refinance our houses to pay for the Army. Go take the quiz. Look, Tommy's already done.
Wow. It only took 30 seconds. I can refinance Monticello.
Earl was right. It's incredible what you can do with the VA loan. You earned it, so you should take advantage of it. Take the quiz at earl.net and see if it makes sense for you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh no, we're back with your boy Albert Hero.
I just text you WTF because I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I don't have my phone, but I'm gonna tell you this there, Albert Hero. This is probably the first time that you paid your internet bill and it worked better than what we're using.
So man, I was gonna tell you, so while we're waiting, you know, you talking shit, but you would have ended up in Florida. You know that, right? You would have ended up here. You know how?
I would have.
If you would have went to the schoolhouse when I was there, you would have bought a place here and you would have been in Florida like me.
By the way, I wanted to go there. Remember? So I was like, I want to go to the schoolhouse, but I wasn't cool enough, so they wouldn't let me go.
You would have ended up right here with me, bro.
You were way too cool, so you got to go.
No, I'm just saying. You made senior chief, and that was a bad career. Hey, that was a bad career move. You made senior chief.
Right? Isn't that amazing? Like you make senior chief, and they tell you that's the bad move.
Yeah, it's a bad move. So while we're waiting, man, we'll do some shout outs. Josh Morris, what's up, my little brother? He's in the building. Got Josh in the building. Josh ain't been here in a minute, man. Josh is back online with us. We got Chase White. Shiza Manelli is in the building.
Shiza, I play the best shuffleboard on the planet, Manelli, and I make you think I'm awesome at darts, but I distract you and then cheat. That's what happens.
We got the beautiful Becky Johnson, the beautiful Sarah Cobb tuning in with us. What's up, ladies? And of course, Doc Carlos Calzada, my boy, my mentor. I'm about to be on that grill. I'll be on the grill every weekend trying to be like Carlos. I can't wait to be in his presence with that brisket,
bro,
with his meat. I can't wait to have Carlos's meat in my hands. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. I'm going to come by that cook team, and I just can't wait to see him telling you what to do and you running around doing the famous, I don't know what to do with my hands. This is crazy. What's going on? I don't know what to do. It's going to be great.
Oh, I'm going to be locked in.
What does that mean? You're going to be locked in?
I'll be locked in. It's a competition. I'll be locked the fuck in. Won't be no games. We ain't playing no games.
Gang. No?
Oh shit, 9 months left. This retirement stuff is too much. Oh, Josh is gonna be retiring soon. That's what's up.
He's quitting already, dude? He just went on deployment. There we go.
Chase, I talked to your boy. He did hit me up, so.
Thank you. All right, so I don't hear thunder no more, so I'm thinking we're okay. So for everybody that heard the pre-Ladyboy story, we're definitely coming back to that, because I heard didn't know guy, didn't know girl, saw Adam's apple, and something about it was on.
It was on.
So we're going to talk about that later.
At the end of the day, you don't know if you like something until you try it. You know what I'm saying? Then you realize it's just not for you. Like that is just not for you. Like, you know what I mean? Nothing says I don't like it like hairy ass cheeks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hear you. I also will tell you, more than likely, for everybody that I can see in the room right now, thank God there was no cell phones, photos, Facebook, and Instagram when we were all running around younger.
Oh,
it would have been horrible.
I tell my kids that, and I'm so glad there was no social media like that when we were kids. When I was a kid, can you imagine the sheer horror that the shit that we did? I mean, Chris talked about it earlier, like, yeah, I don't want to get into my childhood. Thank God, right? Because if there would have been social media or camera phones, bro, yeah, thanks, Chase. I ain't no quitter. I'm committed, bro.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
You didn't get caught.
You didn't get yeah, there's no proof. You don't ever know if it ever really happened because there's no video evidence.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. But also, I do believe half the stuff that you would say. I think I would believe every bit of it. 100%.
Hey, so I want to say something, Matt, to Chris before we jump back into his story, because I definitely want to fast forward and get to when he picked up Chief and talk about that. Yep. We're currently, obviously, you know what's going on right now. We're currently in the midst of Chief Petty Officer season across the United States. So I definitely want to talk a little bit about that process for you and that. But what I want to kind of say now is listening to your story before we had the horrible weather break us up. I think I don't think credit's given enough for people like you, people who said, because we've had people that we've talked to, Matt, I won't name drop, but we've had guests on here that literally said that they fought to not deploy. They fought to not have to go on a deployment because they were married or because they had a kid or for whatever one of the fucking reasons. Doesn't matter. But we've had people who've told us, like, man, I tried my best. I know people. We all do. We know people in the military that as soon as the word deployment was brought up, or now it's I got medical issues, or whatever the issue is. So the fact of the matter is, people like you who fought to go to deployment or wanted to go, my hat's off to you, because there's not a lot of people who can say that, right? There's not a lot of people who say, man, I wanted to go with my guys, or I wanted to go and be with my troops and my Marines and my people, the people I trained. So I just want to kind of commend you and say thank you for that, because it shows it's a tribute to your character and just that warrior ethos and that just that person that you are. Because it's funny, I heard you saying that, and it brought back memories of people I know who were like, fuck deployment, I'm not going. Like, then what the fuck did you join for? This is what we do. We train to be warriors. We're war fighters. This is what we do. And to find a way to get out of it is crazy. And you were trying to find a way and fight to get into it. So I appreciate that, brother. It means a lot. And it goes, and we'll jump into you making cheap, but I definitely want to say, I'm proud to say you're a friend and I know you, because people like you, I know if I call you, you got my back, because you're a man of your word and you stand up, you stand on fucking business. And that's what it's supposed to be about as veterans.
And that's good. And that's good to be around like-minded people, because I will also tell you that it also cost me a marriage. It cost me time with my kids. It cost me a lot of struggles, because I volunteered for Iraq and Afghanistan both. And that also got used against me, that remember, you volunteered to go. So the flip side is I've also told people
In your divorce, it got used against you in your divorce.
Yeah. I've also told people, be careful what you ask for, because because we are like-minded people, because we have that same mentality, and because we chose to do that, it can also cost us a lot as well. Unintended consequences, right? Now, don't get me wrong. You fast forward, I've been divorced for 17 years now, almost 17 years, and we have a great amicable relationship. But for a long time, it wasn't that way. And because I volunteered to go to Iraq and I volunteered to go to Afghanistan, those things got used against me. So it's also be careful what you ask for as well.
Yeah. So Chris, I don't know the whole story. Like I don't know all the ins and outs, but I will say this too. At the end, and my wife, I've been married and divorced to the same woman
twice.
And that's okay. That's okay.
But here's the other part of it. I'm a firm believer in when she married me, I was in the military, right? You signed up for this too. So this is, I would say at the end of the day, you volunteer for this shit too. Like it ain't just on me.
Yeah.
You knew what you were signing when you signed that paperwork saying you're going to marry me. We went before God and said our vows. This was part of me. This was who I am. Yeah, you signed up for that shit too.
But in the beginning, she wasn't your wife when you missed the first deployment, though, right?
She was.
Okay.
So, and she was actually military. She was an Air Force medic.
Okay.
So,
because I thought you said you met her after you couldn't.
So I met her. I met her in San Antonio.
San Antonio, yeah, Lackland.
Yeah. Well, she was actually an instructor with me.
Oh, nice! Look at you, you're a dirty dog. You. Look
I know,
at
right?
you, bro.
So
look at you. Fucking help.
You know what's funny? So here's the funny story. So it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. We had been training all night, 24 hours or whatever, and we're all getting ready. The students are leaving, and she comes through and she's like, "Hey, has anybody seen my cover?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, if you go on a date with me, maybe I'll find your cover." And she's like, "I don't need it that bad." I mean, that's the type of person. So she's like us. She's that same like-minded people, and that's one of the things we love. To even one day we're out doing a freaking Hell and Farewell and going away party, and one of the guys come up and they're like, "Hey, Luna, you're freaking, not that I'm gay or whatever, but they're like, you're a good-looking dude and you're a stand-up guy, and I won't say her name, but she's a good-looking gal. Why don't y'all go out?" And I was like, "Hey, look, man, I've asked her out and she said no." And later on, she told me, she's like, everybody else would be all machismo and this, and this. She's like, "But you were kind of humble and you just kind of blew it off like, hey, yeah, I tried." And she said no. So later on that day, she came up, she said, "Hey, can I see your phone?" And she gave me her number. That
it would have worked the first time around. If she was missing her cover, the first thing, it would have worked way better if you would have had her cover and she would have walked in the room and you'd been butt naked and the cover would have been over your crotch. That would have been a hell of a story right there. Like that would have been.
I told you it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. It was kind of cold.
Well,
Camp Willis gets kind of cold. So yeah,
okay.
I would have taken it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
get it.
Maybe he's being a gentleman and he's not telling you the whole story.
Nah.
Yeah, but I mean, we've heard stories about wheelchairs across football fields without, so I don't think anything.
It was the parade grinder.
It
was the parade grinder.
My fault.
There you go.
My fault.
Polio legs.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. So I know we're gonna get into you making you chief, but so you went to that deployment. Walk us through that deployment. Now you finally got to deploy that first time. You went down. So walk us through just that deployment and how it went for you.
To be honest with you, I mean, that deployment was a piece of cake to Afghanistan. I won't get into super details, but I mean, I did meet President Bush. I did meet Condoleezza Rice, General Petraeus when he was the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So I got to do a lot of cool things and meet a lot of cool people. But as far as combat deployment, that was a piece of cake. We didn't have any casualties. So it was, yeah, that.
And so did that come to the next one? You deployed twice, right?
Yeah, the Afghanistan was tough.
So walk through that one.
So I was on a provincial reconstruction team. So we were out to try to stabilize the government and this and that. But I will tell you, these little fuckers know war, right? Like, this is all they have done. So it was so bad to where I carried a little bitty pack so I could blend in like everybody else. And the little kids would come up and say, doctor. I'd be like, nope. They'd be like, doctor. And I was like, nope. Because a lot of the doctors, well, corpsmen, medics, doctors, anybody in the medical field, anybody that was a comm person, and any leader, a lot of times they would get sniped. And while the people are trying to get to them, they would snipe them. So when these kids are calling me a doctor, I'm like, no, because I don't want to become a target. But if these little kids can tell that I stick out in this, because we did mounted and dismounted patrols. So I'm dismounted walking through a freaking village and they're calling me doctor. So if this 8-year-old kid can tell I stick out, the bad guy that's sitting behind a scope can tell I stick out. So yeah, I mean, we did dismounted patrols. We did mounted patrols. We did helo ops. We did just about everything. We have been blown up. We got complex attacks. We took everything. We didn't lose anybody. We took casualties. We didn't lose anybody. Now another unit there, they lost some people because their TTPs, their tactics, techniques, and procedures were not as solid. And we had to respond to that stuff. And now you see 17-year-old kids seeing dead bodies for the first time. And how do you deal with these? And I say 17. I mean, I think everybody on our deployment was 18 years old, but you know, I try to use the word 17 because what people do not understand is there are kids that are 17 years old with their parents' permission to join the military, and they are seeing this stuff. And you, as a 17-year-old child, so I'm going to say another piece, right? So when 9/11 first happened, right, my mentality was, let's go over there and smoke all these motherfuckers. They want to come over here and do this, we go and go do that. But then when you get over there and you have to pull the trigger, but a lot of your targets are kids, because let's face it, the terrorists over there are going to utilize kids to do their dirty work. They will actually kidnap your child's brother to blackmail you to go bomb Americans. They will do that over there. And so because what do we do with kids? We hand them chocolate. We do this, we do that. And so they make fun of Americans for being nice to kids. They make fun of Americans for being nice to the ladies. So a lot of your threats are kids. So as a parent, is it tough to look down the sights to potentially pull the trigger or pull the trigger on a child? Then you have a 17-year-old kid that has to potentially pull the trigger or pull the trigger on potentially what is their little brother. Mm-hmm. So this is why these young, for me, I think because I deployed later in life, I think things are easier to process, but these young kids that deployed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times at young ages, when these guys aren't even allowed to drink a beer legally, they do not know how to process this stuff, and it messes them up. So yes, I will say in Afghanistan, we saw a little bit of everything. And that's why I say, like, that's why I tell people Iraq was easy, but Afghanistan, these guys know war, and they are very good at it. And we saw a lot.
I mean, they've been fighting wars for millennia,
forever.
Like that's what they do. So was there, I mean, you guys see this every day, right? These young kids going through that. Like, what was the op tempo for you as like one of those senior guys? Was there anything you could do to help them? Did you guys reach out? Like, what was
So the cool thing for us was, and so our op tempo was high. So originally it was me. I had 2 corpsmen and a medic and a PA. So we were going to go out with like a 5-man medical team, but our budget kept getting cut. So it ended up being me and 1 Army medic. We actually, by the time we made it into theater, I had me and 2 medics. So they cut a PA and they cut 2 corpsmen. and I was a chief at the time. And then we get into theater and they're like, hey, we need to. So we went from like 143 down to about 70 or 60 people. So at the very end, they came to me and they said, hey, chief, can you go down to one medic? And I was like, shit, that means I got to do a lot of patrols. But I said, you know what? You got more guys and more guns. But yeah. So we got rid of another medic. So it's just me and one other medic. It just took turns. So I did over 100 combat patrols that mission. And sometimes both of us would go because the threat was that high. Yeah.
So what, I mean, from your perspective, why would that be the thing they're cutting? Medical. I mean, we're in a wartime situation. People are downrange. They're put in danger, right? We know that's the case, right? Like we're in the military. We're going to war. We're going downrange. Casualties could be in effect. Why would they cut the medical part of it?
Because I will tell you the pilots out there are freaking phenomenal. I mean, these guys would fly into some crazy situations.
Yeah.
And like I said, tourniquets, right? The mentality has changed so much to where if somebody gets hurt, you throw a tourniquet. And so a lot of things, those that don't know about body armor, right? And I don't know if the camera can show it, but when I first went in, you used to shoot sideways, right? But what they learned was people were taking bullets into the auxiliary area, and that's hitting the vital organs. So now we're fighting facing forward. So yes, can you get shot in the face or in the neck? Yeah. But a lot of bullets are going to hit you here. So it's not going to get you in the vital organs. It's going to catch you in the limbs, right? Now, is it luck? Yeah, it's luck. But let's face it, most of your terrorist cells and stuff like that, unless they're a sniper, they can't shoot worth shit, right? They take an AK and pop, 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 pop. But a lot of people are getting caught in the side when you're shooting in the side. So we change tactics where you're shooting forward to decrease the chances of getting shot in your vital organs. So again, if you get shot in the arm or leg, yeah, it may hit a artery, which is going to cause a major bleed, but you throw a tourniquet on and you get a freaking pilot that will fly into a freaking hot zone.
Yeah.
And pick this guy up and get him back to a cache.
Yeah.
A combat support hospital. So you don't need the medical personnel out there as much, because if you have pilots that'll go into a hot zone, pull people out, get them to a subject matter expert, a surgeon, you don't need as many medical personnel. And then you take like what Al went through, right? Al was a freaking supposed to be a mechanic, but what does he get trained in? He gets trained in advanced medical procedures. So they're taking all these other people that are in all these other fields, and they're taking the war fighters and they're training them in advanced medical procedures. Like I'm telling you right now, you take a grunt in the Marines, they could do more than a paramedic on the street.
Yeah, they're combat lifesaver trained for sure. They're advanced trauma trained. Like it's like you go through. I mean, you can run. We were running IVs. It's like we were doing all kinds of shit. Like to Doc's point, you can get a grunt to run an IV, drop a tourniquet, and keep control bleeding until medevac arrives. That's really what you need, right?
Yeah, and a paramedic or some of your EMTs in the streets here in the U.S. can't do a lot of the things that these guys are allowed to do in the military.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why they could cut a lot of the medical personnel, because you could get them to the advanced medical treatment a lot quicker.
So really all the medical people were back there, right?
Yes.
Like, let's get them there and we'll be all right.
Yep.
There you go. Wow. So you said you were a chief at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So what year did you make chief?
So I made chief in, holy crap. See, you had put me on the spot.
I'm 112.
2010.
I was 06. So
Okay.
you're 010. So you're what, 116?
Yeah.
There you go. Where did you make it?
So I made it in DC on I-90.
Hey, me and Doc made chief together.
Really?
Hey, yeah.
You made it in DC?
Yeah.
How was that?
So to be honest with you, it was the best thing that happened for me.
Oh, wow.
Two reasons. One, I made it my second year. So I'm glad I did not make it my first year. I thought my shit didn't stink. So had I made it my first year, I would not be a good chief.
Oh, wow.
So the humility, when it knocked me down a notch, That was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Was not making it my first year. And 2, because I was never around the fleet side. Oh my goodness gracious. And the lead for me was Sean Tate, who was on the USS Cole that got hit.
Ooh.
So having him as a lead was great for me.
Oh yeah.
Because the passion that this guy had on being a freaking chief, because I could relate to him. And he was a black dude that drove a dually in DC. So that was also a whole nother weird thing. You get a black guy that drives a dually in DC, and look, I'm not trying to be stereotypical racist or anything, but you just don't see that very often.
Oh, you don't see that.
No.
They're on like 24s,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes. And then for him to, again, be a survivor off the USS.
What was his
Cole.
rate?
Oh my gosh.
He had to be an engineer, bro. He's driving a dually. He's an engineer.
I mean, I wanted
Or a
to say,
bosun,
I
mate.
want to say LS or something, but it wasn't LS. I'll go back and look at my charge book, and I'll find out. I'll find out.
So that hit me. I was in the Seabees. So we're Marines with light duty chits. Al's a super Marine with a light duty chit because he was a CB. We make it. We weren't really around the fleet either, right? And so I got ripped a lot because I picked a bosun mate and a damage controlman as my sponsors. They were pissed because I didn't pick recruiters. But I was like, I want to learn the Navy. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been around that. So that's what I want to learn. So being in DC, like, what was that like to go through, like, the season? That's like the pinnacle of what we do, to be in the nation's capital. What was it like that?
So it's weird, right? Because you had what they called NCR, National Capital Regions. So you had the Pentagon Chiefs, which are a whole special group. Sorry. That's a whole special group. Then you had the Bethesda group, which is primarily corpsmen. And then you had the Navy Yard, White House Communications Agency. You had us at, and those were comprised of all different ratings, except for the White House Communications Agency, because they're the type of IT, IS type things and stuff like that. But you had just a spectrum of all these different ratings. And you had the hard asses to the soft people. You had a big fat chief that was telling you how much PT was there, and you're like, come on, dude, blow it out your ass, because if you're fat and you're talking about PT, like, go blow it out your ass.
Have you seen the latest Master Chief pinning photo?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like,
that's a DC chief.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You got all these different spectrums, right? And again, this is one of the biggest things, and you guys know it. What you put into it is what you get out of it.
Yeah.
That really is. But for me to get all these different ratings and to get such a spectrum of different people, and to be honest with you, my RDC was in the area. So my RDC happened to be a corpsman.
Uh-oh.
And she was tough. When I was at boot camp, she rode my ass because she was also green side. So I ran into her twice in my career.
Yeah.
And
my name's on you, bro.
Yeah. And that's exactly what she told me. So when I made chief and her and I had a chance to talk, she was like, the reason I rode you was, one, for me to be a female serving with the Marines, I had to pay my dues. And she's like, so for you to be a corpsman, and I saw the potential in you, I want you to represent me. So that's why I was so tough on you.
Yep.
And I ended up being the honor grad of my division. But I didn't realize why she rode my ass. But yeah. So making chief for me in DC, as wild as it is, it was meant for me to make it there.
Yeah.
Instead of, if I would have made it with division, I think it would have been too comfortable, and I don't think I would have been a good chief. I think for me, making it where I made it made me a good chief.
Well, because you had a more concentrating of chiefs to go through with, right? If you would have made a division, it'd have been mostly corpsmen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a difference. So that's kind of like the thing for us, like Al and I, the majority of all of our khaki career was in recruiting, right? So when we go through the season there's like this whole thing in recruiting duty that it's like recruiters against fleet, like fleet chiefs, career recruiters, right? Al and I were the guys in the room all the time that everybody didn't want to hear from, because we're like, we got these fleet dudes in the room that are from the ship that can, help push these guys. But, us guys that haven't been to the boat in a long time or the ship are the ones that, want to go through all that. And so it was different. That's why, I don't know. I think, Al, you had the same thing, right? You didn't have Career Recruiters as your sponsors, did you?
No, I didn't at all. And then I went through with like 7 different reserve centers, like across Ohio, Kentucky, like all these reserve centers, West Virginia. The reserve.
Al got screwed with a lot.
Like it was crazy as shit. It's the longest ceremony ever, and I
think
his internet's not doing good now.
Storm got to Al.
Boop, boop. Hey, payback.
My internet's fine. It's y'all shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's y'all shit.
But so the biggest thing is when we would go through, we had a lot of reservists that go with us in recruiting duty. And there's one thing that I remember going through all of that is we would go through chief season. That's when everybody wants to be a chief, right? But they don't show up during the year.
Yeah, that's when the motherfuckers show up. They want to show up now and talk shit and be fucking Monday morning quarterback chiefs. Like, oh, I'm the greatest chief ever. Like, where the fuck were you at for the whole year? You drinking coffee in the Chiefs mess? Where the fuck you been, bro?
I remember being in New Orleans, and we were in I think it was just a New Orleans mess meeting, Al, I think. And we were in there, and we heard that some reserve chiefs straight asked, am I going to be on orders for this training? Like, they wouldn't come unless I got paid. Al lost his shit. And they were I don't think you can go to that event tomorrow. I was like, I'm fucking going. Wow. But it was what do you mean you can't be paid? Because I remember Al standing up going, I got this other job to do to put people in the Navy. We're recruiting, but I still got to be here at 4 a.m. to PT. I still got to be here for their training.
Yeah, we had to.
And I still have to do my job. So I'm getting paid by the Navy 9 to 5, and I'm still doing the chief stuff. You might be working wherever you work in civilian world, but you still need to be here, right?
Yeah, how you take time away from your family after hours. Like all this shit happens after working hours.
Al's driving to New Orleans from Gulfport, Mississippi. For 4:30 in the morning PTs. But this guy that's like 5 minutes down the road
is like, am I going to get paid for this?
Make it.
You.
Wow. Yeah. And to be honest, it was a shock when I met Matt, because when I first got out, did I try real hard? No. But I tried. I reached out a little bit here and there. Yeah. I was just like, you know what? That chapter's behind me, blah, blah, blah. Plus, the end of my career was a little bit different anyways, until I met Matt. And he's like, oh, did you do any Chiefs? I was like, nah, look, I tried and couldn't find anybody. So I kind of lost the passion for it. And yeah.
Well, I mean, when you look at how it works now, it's like hit and miss, right? It's really funny when you do that retirement ceremony. You stand on the stage, they read the Chiefs Creed, right?
I didn't do one.
I didn't do one either, Doc. Don't worry.
Yeah, he got to do one.
Okay.
So I didn't do it. I had our careers are probably similar, Doc. I had some towards the end of my career. I started I bucked the system a little bit and was like, "Fuck you, suck my dick from the back" type of fucking stance on everything. And ended up getting out the Navy and being
but I mean, anybody can now go look at it. The retired Chiefs Creed says, once a chief, always a chief, right? But when you talk to them, I remember being on active duty towards the end. We'd have a lot of retired chiefs come in. And it was like you had to babysit them to tell them you can't do these things with, selectees that are going through.
Okay.
But then it's like, okay, but you haven't even let the dude get through the door yet. And you're assuming that they're going to do
stupid shit.
Right. Now that I'm on this side, I'm like, we totally disrespected the knowledge of yesterday.
Yeah, because here's the problem. Here's part of that problem. It's true, and I don't give a fuck who gets mad about it and like, oh, you can't say that as a chief. Yes, the fuck I can. The problem is we like to. It's like people who are like, you're a chief forever. You say the creed, and when you retire, like your retirees accept you, and like all this, it's all fucking bullshit. Once you're fucking out, you're out. And for the most part, most people don't give a fuck about you. They forget.
Right.
They don't value you because you're out, you're gone, which is fine, which I'm cool with. I'm okay with that thought process. I'm out. The grass is greener on this side for 100% certain, but it's sad because you do lose the value of that leadership and that experience. Look at Doc. It's like Doc's a corpsman. How many corpsmen that are making chief right now have never been downrange probably, or haven't really deployed a whole lot because we're at a whole different chapter in the country and what's going on. His experience and his background and his whole, just everything he's done brings value to these new chiefs. And we get away from that and we start being like, well, they're just retired. They don't know shit. Fuck you. You young motherfuckers don't know shit. That's the problem. But it's the facts. The fact is, like, we did it to them too. We were like, well, hey, don't say shit. You're retired. Stay in your fucking swim lane. When in the reality of it is, where's all that fucking pumped up ass Chiefs mess bullshit? And we're a Chiefs mess and we care. We're brothers and we're sisters and we're once a chief, always a chief. Where's all that real shit? It's all just fucking, is it all just flowery talk? Or do we really believe that shit?
Right.
It waters down the process.
Well, like, I'll throw a story out. This is where I say is bittersweet about being in DC, right? So you hear stories about the ice coffin, right? These guys were throwing the ice coffin and
I was
they
in the coffin.
their balls. Yeah. Okay. So being in DC, a lot of chiefs were saying, oh, there's no point in this, and this, and blah, blah, blah. And this is why the chiefs are changing the training, this, and this. Well, I actually had one of these old guys from Vietnam, and he's like, it's hard for me to come around this new chiefs training, but there was a purpose behind it. And the purpose was POWs. We did the ice coffins to prepare you mentally and physically for if you became a POW. And what these chiefs don't understand now is that's what that was for. Yes. Does it make you a better chief? No, in a sense, but it was to prepare you for that time in our lives that there was a possibility that you could become a POW, and it was mentally and physically preparing you for if you had to become that way. So that was kind of the cool and bad things, like I said, about being in DC, about the ice coffins and, little things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that when you look at how all that stuff goes anyway, every era has their thing that they did, right? However, you have to understand that you got to look at what was the point behind that training, right? The problem is that I feel, this is me going through this shit for, I don't know, we were probably chiefs 10 years plus, going through all these seasons and see these people, the guys that put the less effort during their season want to be the biggest mouse the next year.
Yes.
And the problem is, this is what I learned. This is me. I go through chief season and I was a recruiter. We got screwed with a lot. We got put down a lot. I, just like Al, went through with a whole bunch of reservists. And I was like, oh my God, why? Because they were never there. We would get beat for them. It was like going through your thing. The next year, I was told, shut up.
Yep.
And watch.
Yep.
And so I would sit
100%.
in the goat locker and I'm watching what's going on. And I'd hear them tell the stories about, oh, these guys are about to come or whatever was going to happen. I went, you assholes knew everything we were going to fuck up before we did it. They were like, yeah, because we did the same thing.
Right.
Sitting back for that first year and watching, I learned more about what I should do than when I went through.
Yes.
And then as I got into it, like that leash got longer and longer. And so now you would have commands take a first year chief and be like, they're the best leader out here. They should lead it. You're like, whoa, do you remember what they were like last year?
Yeah.
We let them get through because they didn't get it. And then there were people like me. I was don't judge me, everybody. I was a 6.5 year chief, right? Made it through 6.5, 7 years. Now, my humbling came to make senior chief. It took me like 10 years to make that, dude. But I made it quick. And then, I choose like fleet chiefs to go through. And then I would learn so much that first year. And then when you talk to people after, you can tell who they're talking to during their first year. You're like, oh, you sound just like that guy. By the way, he's a dirtbag too.
Yeah.
That's the guy that's only here for 6 weeks a year.
Mm-hmm.
He's not at every meeting. He's not doing these things. And so as you watch the evolution of it, it's just sad, man.
It is.
The Navy's that service that has that tradition and heritage. And Ty, we've talked to him when I remember the first conversation I had with Ty. I told him about my retirement ceremony, and he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, that's how we do it, just like it was on the wooden ship days." And I felt bad, and he is feel free to tell his story, whatever. I felt
I'll
bad
tell
when
my
he
story.
told me the story of his, because I was like, "You did how much time, and that's what you got?" I was angry because like that's messed up, man. I feel bad that Al didn't do a retire, and I tell him all the time, I feel bad you didn't get one. That it hurts because that retirement ceremony is for your wife and your kids.
Right.
They went through all that bullshit. They went through deployments. They went through you weren't there. They went through taking care of everything when you were gone. Now it's our time to say thank you. And anybody that doesn't get to do that, I feel bad for it, man.
Well, and so that's
they
why.
they didn't come in my sea bag. Fuck them.
See, he says that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I
Well,
love my
so
daughter.
that's the only reason why I didn't. So my last year, my son went through cancer treatment,
Ooh.
and I was on the HUMS duty my last year in the Navy. And when he finished treatment, I was done. And so I didn't want my family to be up on stage because I already knew my son wasn't going to feel comfortable being bald and this and that. Because you're right. It's not about you. It is about your family. So that is why I walked away. Like I talked to my family. I was like, do y'all want to do this? And they're like, if you want to, for you. I was like, no, it's not for me. It is for you. And even though I was divorced, I still told my ex, I was like, you have still supported me. Great. So this is about you guys. And they're like, and I said, so I don't want to because I think you're going to be uncomfortable. And that's the only reason why. Yeah, because you're right.
For sure.
It is for your family.
But the difference is you got the opportunity
to
discuss and have that conversation. I feel bad for guys that don't do it because in this fraternity that we're in, they're not supported or they don't feel like,
right.
I mean, Al's told the story before.
Yeah.
The guy gets out of the Navy. All he wanted was what?
I just wanted a fucking helmet signed just by the Chiefs mess.
Something
Like I didn't even, I've got one. Here's the craziest part, Doc. I've got one paddle on my wall and I was a chief. I made chief in the year after you, and I was a chief forever and a senior chief forever. One out of all the Chiefs mess I've ever been to, I got one Chiefs mess gift, and I was the president of Chiefs mess. But they just didn't take. I didn't get taken care of like I thought I should have. Like when I transferred from commands, like I was like, hey, I'll buy a helmet. I just want all the Chiefs to sign it. And they're like, yeah, we got you.
I'll buy a helmet.
They were like, nah, with nothing. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. So I'm a little bitter when it comes to like the Chiefs, and they're all like, we're Chiefs. It's fucking Chiefs mess. I'm like, fucking suck my dick. You guys are a bunch of fucking balls of just bags of air. You just talking shit. You don't mean none of the shit you say.
But that's the problem, right? What do you learn when you go through that, and what is the point of doing that? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And right now is that era of it, right? Like it's all different in the world. It's different where it's at. But I'm kind of like you. It's hard for me to sit back now and go, you guys are doing it wrong. I'm not there.
Right.
So I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what you're being told. I don't know how it is. So I don't give my opinion there. But then when you talk to some of these guys, you're like, man, what did you just say? I didn't learn that as a chief.
Right.
I don't know why you're speaking that way. Maybe it's different now. And so you walk away and you're kind of like, I'm glad I'm not in it no more.
Exactly. And my dad had that conversation with me. He kind of tried to talk me out of going to join in the military. He goes, son, he goes, it's changed. He goes, I don't think you're going to like it. And it's funny because my first 15 years, I absolutely loved the military. My last 7, I can't necessarily say that.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, you're like me. My last probably two and a half, I was kind of like, I'm ready to be I'm over this. The leadership had changed. The dynamic had changed. It became so political. It became so not just the chiefship, but just the military, in my opinion, was kind of watered down. Like they were looking to be more corporate and less military minded. When I was told, Doc, literally, like, my style of leadership. Now, mind you, never been in trouble, never had an eval below a fucking MP my whole career, been great at everything. I was told by a full bird that my style and my type of leadership is no longer wanted or needed in the Navy. And I'm thinking, I was troops in combat and was field promoted to E5 in fucking Iraq. And I've done all and literally fucking told, hey, your style of leadership or your leadership is no longer needed. Like,
but
that's crazy.
That's after every 18 months moving your family.
Yeah. I PCS my family every 18 months.
My
go
kids
wherever they told me.
to 10 different schools, whatever the Navy needed me, I'm going there.
Yep.
But now, yeah, we don't need you. But me and Al, kind of the opposite, right? Like, I didn't do that move every 18 months. You know, I did my part, but both of us probably kind of like you. This is not the path that I need to go down. You kind of go away, and it's sad, man, because I see guys like him.
Well, I regret it, Matt. I wish I would have done more like you. I wish I would have followed your approach more so than like the way I did. Because, and I've talked about it on the podcast. I've talked about it with Ty in detail when we've had our time, right? But I was married to the military, right? I put my family on the back burner. I didn't ask them. Like, I just said, hey, fuck it. They need me to go here. I'm PCS and we're leaving. It's been 18 months. We're gone. I'm going to do it again and again and again and again, chasing success. And like Matt said, I did it. And then I felt kind of burnt at the end. Like, wait a minute, I've done all this, everything you've ever asked. And this is the treatment I get, which, you know, I'm kind of being a bitch about it because really at the end of the day, I signed up for it, right? I fucking signed my name on the dotted line and re-enlisted. This is what it is. I think it's more humbling because you realize you're just another number. You're really not that important. And the Navy's going to continue to go on well without you and do great without you. You're just another little cog in the wheel. You don't matter as much as you think you do.
Correct. It's the best lesson
it is
in corporate America that you could ever get.
It is.
Don't realize that that's the lesson you're being taught.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Anyway,
so we're about to get it hot in here. So before we go to that, I want to know, like, we've often said in the podcast that the amount of close quarters combat, you know, you said medicine's changed the way, you know, the way we do medicine during combat has changed a lot. What was the biggest thing as far as like a leap in technology and or equipment that y'all had for the GWAT era in the medical field?
I mean, a lot of that is going to be probably and man, I'm trying to remember the medical terminology, but it was basically the chest interosseous where you could give an IV. Back in the day, you know, we always had to do it intravenously, but now you can give a grunt of freaking, and again, I wish I could remember the name, but I've let so much of this go, but you basically, no, not the nasopharyngeal where you stick in the nose, but you basically gave them this big thing that had like 33 needles. They shove it in their chest. It puts a hole in their chest and they plug an IV. So, because again, if you get a limb that's blown off or severed or whatever, and you can't get intravenous access because this limb, due to trauma, due to dehydration, due to all the different factors that go into it, you don't have venous access. But now you can shove this thing into somebody's chest. And guess what? If they're unconscious, oh well. Guess what? If they're conscious and they scream of pain, well, guess what? They're alive. It doesn't matter, right? But you have access to their veins where, yes, right now it's fluids, but later it's going to be blood. So although anybody can do it, I would say that's probably the biggest technological aspect is being able to give somebody a freaking thing to stab into somebody else's chest for venous access.
So maybe like the from top down, bottom up, what we've learned is been pretty much the most amazing thing, you would think.
Yeah.
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 I hated doing the nasopharyngeal.
Oh yeah. It sucks and it feels weird.
All right. So here's the deal. So now you can tell we've switched seats.
Okay.
So now we're going to let our man Ty take you through the hot seat.
Okay.
So me and Al are going to drop out and we're just going to make you uncomfortable. I don't think that's going to be possible, but we're going to attempt to do it right now.
So long as Al's not trying to do some hairy butt thing in Thailand.
Hey, let's go.
It's always about hairy butts with Al in Thailand.
Always
Just
about
saying.
hair. It's always about- No sound. Don't have any sound.
And a lot of that, let me back up, is my sleep has gone up. The quality of my sleep has gone up. And it's because of her. So because my sleep has gone up, my mood is better and everything else decreases. So the rest of my day just progresses better.
Gotcha. Place on earth you've ever visited?
So probably the most unique place is Israel. So at one point in time, we went to Ukraine, and then we actually got a transition down to Israel. And so I got to touch the Wailing Wall, and I got to go into Jesus' tomb. So that is the most unique and amazing place I've ever been.
Oh, for sure. That's probably the best answer. All right, 1 hour conversation with one person in history. Who are you going to talk to and what are you going to talk about?
In history.
In history. Dead or alive?
You know, maybe, and it's very controversial, but maybe Hitler.
Find out what the hell?
How in the hell he got an entire country behind him to go wipe out an entire race?
Yeah. The lessons history would teach.
So that's what I tell people. It's like, if you don't realize that he was one of the best leaders to get an entire country behind him to go wipe out an entire race.
Yeah, most influential leader.
Yes.
Right. Maybe not the best.
Yeah.
Influential for sure. All right. What advice would you give 12-year-old Chris Luna?
Probably become an officer. Join in Texas because you get the Hazelwood. Well, you do. There's a lot of benefits you get from joining Texas. And technically our recruiting office fell out of Recruiting District Dallas. So join out of Texas, get the Hazelwood, become an officer. Now, I'm not saying don't become a chief first, but retirement as an officer is so much better. And treat your wife better. Here's why. The best thing you can do for your kids is take care of their mom.
Yeah, great answer. All right, a little bit lighter question now. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I don't do karaoke.
Not at all?
No.
What's
not
your
at all. I
favorite
can't-
song then? What's your favorite song to listen to?
Probably Picture by Sheryl Crow,
Sheryl
and
Crow and Kid Rock?
Yep.
What does that mean to you? Is it a deployment song?
No, a lot of it kind of describes me, right? You get the positive and the negative about a relationship.
Yeah, very true. Very true. What would you think is the biggest skill that you developed post-service that has been the biggest benefit to your life?
Post-service is not giving a fuck. I used to put my heart and soul into everything. My standards have always been here. And I'm slowly letting it go. Because kind of like Al said, right? He gave everything to the military. He didn't give a shit. Not that he didn't give a shit about his family. Let me say that. But he put his military career first. And I was very much the same. And kind of like he said, he got divorced, got remarried, got divorced, got remarried. And this is one thing my ex and I said. I told her, I said, I only get married once. And she said, maybe we'll get remarried again, right? So I understand where Al's path has taken him. But I also put what I thought would benefit me and my career first, but you are just a number and it's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah, I can identify with that. I think I did a lot of I put myself first. I volunteered for everything and kind of put my family on the back burner. So my 5 children that are adults now have a completely different version of me than my 12-year-old in the military. Yep. How I acted, how I was. I think I was in the military for about 5 years with him, but never deployed. So my demeanor was completely different. They got a completely different version of dad. But yeah, thanks for that answer. Here's the big one. You ready for this? Who's the greatest of all time, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
Okay. Why?
I mean, look, the dude did Thriller. Watching that in the Super Bowl was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
He had his jacket, his white glove. I mean, I'm not taking away from Prince, but Michael Jackson, the dude was the shit.
You knock me off of my feet now, baby.
I'll ask a lot of the people.
So everyone that comes on, we ask this, and as you can see right now, it's 37-31. Michael Jackson's making a comeback, but Prince is still in the lead. All right, last question.
Okay,
what can we do to get better as a podcast?
So I'm not a big podcast guy, but I'm learning. Kind of like I threw this out to my buddies, right? So normally I play Xbox at this time, but a couple of my guys gave up Xbox to listen to me. So let me ask those guys and see if I can get you a better answer, because I don't really know. I've watched you guys sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, because I don't do the podcast thing. No.
How many have you been on?
Been on like
podcasts?
Like a participant.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably my 4th, maybe 5th.
Are we in the top 2?
Oh, you guys are killing it. You guys are killing it. So I will tell you that this is my favorite one. And it wasn't scripted. I didn't know any questions. And we're going from this spectrum to this spectrum. And this is very interactive. It's not just about me. It's about all of us. So this is awesome.
Yeah.
And it is actually, me being a participant, I'm probably going to listen more now, to be honest.
Oh, for sure.
To the show? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Chris, I think that the most important thing that we can bring to everyone And what we try to say with us is that everyone has a story, right? So we see all the veterans that are, I guess you could call them celebrities. There's guys you know more than others. But there's so many other people that did things like you did, and Ty and Al and me and everybody. We just want you to tell your story. Tell us about it. And we're about to get into the thing that's impacted you the most. We haven't even gotten there yet. And we got to hear about deployments. We got to hear about joining. We just talked about what leadership in the Chiefs mess is. That's not something that's discussed all the time. And I feel like there's a bunch of people that did great things, but there's regular guys that can give you great information. And that's what we're about, is giving everybody a voice to do that. And so, I mean, you're killing it, by the way. You're probably going to be everybody's favorite.
I'm just trying not to embarrass anybody. To be honest with you, I'm really trying not to.
Well, if you're trying to do anything, you're really not showing that you're trying. You're doing a great job.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm all about getting embarrassed, so don't worry about it.
Al lives his life for
I live my life in the embarrassment range forever.
Oh, so that's the other part of this. Veterans are our people.
Yes.
And that's what we want to talk about. So one thing we do like to talk about, you're segueing great there, by the way, transition. So we do this career. You and Al just went through a whole portion of, I gave everything that was me to serve my country because that's what was important. We're at war. We need to go downrange. We got to protect Americans. We got to keep America free, right? It costs everybody a lot, right? But then you get to the end and you got to get out. So for you, what was the point where you knew it was time to hang it up and go away?
Well, unfortunately for me, it was very easy, but a tough road. So my son was diagnosed with cancer. I was wanting to do one more, either deployment or go to Bahrain. I kind of wanted to go Bahrain because I heard great things and you make a lot of money. So
you heard tax free.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I wanted to do, was get there one time.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, my son got diagnosed with cancer and it was crazy. So I got my son for the summer. We had a lot of things planned. And I talked to my ex and said, hey, look, my son's got this, and this. I think I'm going to take him into the doctor. And she's like, okay, which kind of sucks, right? I live a few states away. I'm just getting my kids for the summer, and now I'm taking my kid into the doctor. But lo and behold, and I'm glad it wasn't at a military treatment facility, because I think they would have swept it under the rug, because even the doctor came out and said, look, I really can't find anything wrong with your son. Do you care if I shoot an x-ray? And I'm like, that's what insurance is for. Go ahead, doc, because something's wrong. Shot an x-ray and they found a 7-inch mass in his chest. So it kind of took a while, right? They took an x-ray. It kind of took a while. The doc comes and she hands me a CD and she says, hey, I need you to go to Children's Hospital, check into the emergency room. They're expecting you. And I'm like, oh, shit.
And you're a medical guy. So you're like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah.
So she goes, let me show you this. So she shows me a computer screen and it's got a clear, and I don't know much medical. I know trauma, but she shows me a picture on the screen and I'm like, can I take a picture of this? Because I don't know. My ex, like I said, she was an Air Force medic. She's better on this side of the house. So I took a picture of my screen, told the kids, I said, let's go to the truck. I called my ex and said, hey, look, I don't know what's going on, but I'm about to send you a screenshot. I'm going to Children's Hospital downtown, Little Rock, Arkansas. You might want to get on a plane tonight. Long story short, my son they couldn't diagnose it, right? They have to take a tissue sample and this and that, but basically he had cancer. So my ex flies in that night. Her and my son fly back the next day. My daughter and I and the rest, and we all go back to DC. I call my command because I'm on leave. I call my command and I'm like, hey, look, I've got 2 more weeks of leave, but just to let you know, I'm not staying in Arkansas. I'm going back to Maryland because of this, and this. I had an awesome senior chief. Said, cool, let me know, blah, blah, blah. So through this whole time, then we go to Johns Hopkins. We get a diagnosis. Yes, it's cancer. So they're trying to work the HUMS duty. So then I get HUMS duty. So my last year in, I spent HUMS duty, spending time at Johns Hopkins, kind of going back to being a chief. So I was at the PSD, Personal Service Detachment. So I end up with the yeoman and the personnel detachment. But then they try to pull this stuff and bring me into the chiefs over at Bethesda. They're like, well, we need to throw the numbers into these evals. So I told the command master chief, I said, look, Sean, I'll tell you right now, I'm a better chief than half your chiefs that are here, but I also don't give a fuck because I'm here for my family. But when I am here, I'll still be a better chief, but also know why you're doing it. So I don't really care. So you can give me a promotable. I don't give a shit. Promotable's still promotable, right? It's a good thing. Everybody's freaked out because it's promotable. But Sean, I'm telling you right now, I'll still be a better chief than half your guys, but whatever. I don't really give a shit. All I ask is I need time with my kids. And I'm not saying just being at the hospital with my son. I'm saying when my ex and I are trading off, that when she's at the hospital, I need to be with my daughters at the house. And I'm leaving it at that. So my last year, I spent HUMS duty, and they still made me come in, and I spent some time in. The good thing is I also had a lieutenant there that was a prior senior chief. So he worked very well with me to where, because my ex was a civilian GS, and she had a very demanding job. So he worked very well with me on being, I spent a lot of time at Johns Hopkins. But when I wasn't there, he worked well with me to be able to be there for my daughters, because it wasn't just about my son going through treatment. It was also about my daughters.
Yeah.
So that they felt supported too. And after that, I was like, deuces, this is it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my transition. That was, for me, it was an easy way out. It was easy.
So
Becky was asking how old was your son when he was diagnosed?
So he was like 13.
13 years old.
Yeah. And it was the toughest. So I tell everybody all the time, I was like, you can put me in combat any day of the week, but kind of being in the medical field and then being a parent, that was the hardest thing because your hands are tied. You can't do anything. And that's what you're kind of trained for, right? Now, of course, I'm trauma, and this is nothing trauma. But you feel like as a parent and as in the medical field, you should be able to do something.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything.
Yeah, but that's like the long haul, right? You got to take the long journey to get through that. And you're used to, if I do this, this, and that, I'm going to be okay. They're going to be all right. But this is the thing is like, let's roll the die. I don't know what's going to happen, right?
And it was a very, very rare. And one thing I've learned is with cancer treatment, because I used to think, man, this is all about money, right? But I've kind of learned that they say, well, this is the best treatment. So we're going to start you with this and then see what your body does. And then just adjust the treatment based off of this.
Yeah.
And
I mean, well, I will thank God you were by Johns Hopkins, right?
Yep.
That's be like, just like being here in Houston by the medical center. Got
So
the best people in the world that can look at it, right? I mean,
so that's one reason why I chose Houston to retire to.
Yeah.
Because I would have MD Anderson. So if I got my kids here, she's got Johns Hopkins there, I got MD Anderson here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man. Were you ready to get out?
No, I was not prepared at all. No.
So walk us through it. Like, well, we know why you got out now, right? Like, family's more important. I got to take care of family. I did all these things. Walk us through your transition. What was it like for you?
It was the hardest thing I ever did. I wasn't ready. My EOS is going to be August 31st.
When did you decide to get out? July 31st?
No, it was much sooner than that. It was probably around January. So maybe I had about,
But even still, 6 months.
yeah. So I started doing final physicals. I started doing this, and that. I mean, I had all my paperwork and all this. I had everything done before I even got out. I was actually here. I was already trying to do my medical exams in West Virginia up there before I even got out. I came here to Houston in July or June. I came here in June. They called me and said, hey, we'll do your medical exams in West Virginia. And I said, well, I'm sorry. I waited around for a few months and y'all never called me. I'm in Houston now. So I didn't get those till a little bit later. I actually started working here in July. I just took a job in the warehouse just to get busy because I sat here for a month, like twiddling my thumbs, getting fat. I gained like 20 pounds. I kid you not. I gained like 20 pounds.
It's like
in a
the
month.
freshman 20 bar.
Yeah. I mean, I was not ready. I didn't know where I was going to hit financially. This is what I tell people all the time because my BAH DC was like $2,700.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you take BH at $2,700, comrades of 300. I was like, that's $3K that is just gone. And then they take your pay and just chop it in half.
Yeah.
That's essentially.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. That's essentially what I went to. Did I kind of do it to myself? Yeah. But it wasn't important anymore.
So coming to Houston, started working. Did you land in the place that you're at now, or did you work a couple before you found the place you are now?
So I, in a sense, landed in the place I am now. So I was just sitting at home. A buddy hit me up, said, hey, I know a Marine. They're looking for somebody to work. And I was like, okay. So this guy hits me up and says, hey, send me your resume. So what I wanted to do was background investigations. That's what I wanted to do because I'm very organized. I want to know who's doing background investigations because I want to know who has a security clearance. And I'm very organized. I'm very independent. I can do all that. But there were no jobs in Houston. So that's what my resume was written for. And I will tell you, there are people and Hired for Heroes. I'm going to throw a shout out to Hired for Heroes right now. Free service. They wrote my resume.
Yeah.
Curtailed to what I wanted. So Hired for Heroes did my resume for me.
Matt, that's where Kyron works. I got a buddy who works for Hired.
Well, not only that, we don't name drop civilian companies for us anyway.
Okay.
But we're about to work with Hire for Heroes because they have a whole program, not only for resume writing, but now they do cohorts. So you can be in, and it's like from what I understand, Al knows more about it than me, but it's a spin-off of Skill Bridge.
Okay. Yep.
So you can go into a company, find a job and then get in. So if you don't get into that Skill Bridge cohort, you can still use theirs. If I'm right, Al?
Yeah, you're spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're awesome, man.
Yeah, they really are. So they wrote a resume. So this guy said, hey, send me your resume. And it was on a Friday. So I'm not going to send my resume on a Friday, right? Plus, this is an electrical company. So I know my resume is not written for it. So then he comes over the weekend because it's a buddy of a buddy.
Yeah.
So he's like, man, I was wanting you to send me your resume because I was going to bring you in for an interview on Monday. And I was like, well, it's a Friday. And
I'm here now.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? I'll send it to you. He goes, all right, well, come Monday and, bring a change of clothes just in case, blah, 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 or whatever. And I was like, okay. And he's like, ask for Mr. Moreno. So I was like, okay. Well, so I show up. So I start driving on Monday morning. And it was going to be for a warehouse job. Well, then I'm driving over there and then I'm like, man, this is my first time being up early, right? I've been sleeping in for a month. And I'm like, fuck this. Do I really want to go to a warehouse? I'm up early in the morning. I'm over 40 years old. Do I really want to work in a warehouse? I should turn around and go home. Then I was like, you know what? I was like, I gave my word. I gave somebody my word. So I'm going to show up. So I show up and I ask for Mr. Moreno. Well, then my buddy shows up. I didn't know that was his last name. So so
that would have sucked, right? You'd be like, I stood my buddy up.
Yeah. So then he walks me around. It's a small company. They had like maybe 25 people. And he goes, hey, man, you can work Monday through Friday, 7 to 4, wear shorts and a T-shirt. And I was in charge of this many people. This many people.
Dude, I'm in the wrong profession. Shorts and a T-shirt,
Shorts
homie?
and a T-shirt.
Oh, my God.
But this was my biggest thing. In charge of this many people.
Yeah.
Now, at the time, I didn't know anything about civilian world, right? So he goes, we'll start you at $13 an hour. So I was like,
okay, never mind.
But at the time, minimum wage was like $7.50. So I'm like, oh man, I'm like double minimum wage. I was like, okay,
yeah,
you got me. Now, don't get me wrong. When I got my first paycheck, I was like, what the fuck?
You realize real quick, at what hourly wage you make in the military? Yeah.
Yeah,
We get paid good.
we did.
Oh,
And, yeah. And later, whenever I cross my 90-day mark and they start talking to me about insurance and this, and I see how much civilian insurance is, holy crap.
Don't need it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yep. But I
Keep
will
that
tell
money.
you, civilian insurance is expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do these people make it making this kind of money, paying this much for insurance? Like, this shit is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You guys all need to join the military, right? I mean, just for that.
Y'all want to take a ride real quick? I know where the office is. I got you. There's 4 choices. It's like a buffet of careers, dude.
Yes. Now, on the flip side, within like 3 months, I got a promotion.
Yeah.
And then within 6 months, the president, like I said, is a small company, right? Like 25 people. Within like 6 months, the president of the company is asking me to be like basically the COO. And I was like, look, sir, slow down. Like, I don't even know your operating system. He goes, yeah, but you don't look here. You look here.
Yeah. I'm not about that life anymore. I'm good. I'll talk to 3 people and I'll be all right.
And I was like, but that's being a chief, right?
Yeah.
You guys know it. Being a senior leader, a sergeant first class, that's what we were taught to do. But what it had taught me, and this is where I start talking to people now about getting out of the military, kind of like some of the stories, right? We put our heart and soul into it, and then we're just a number and blah, blah, blah. So I've started telling people like, hey, look, don't be so scared to get out. All these stories, I said, all these stories that these chiefs and senior chiefs and master chiefs are telling you, it's just because they're scared to get out.
100%. You know what I tell people? On this podcast, I've been like, I was at the point where you're deciding, do you stay in or you get out, right? Do I want to chase 2 stars or am I just going to retire? And I've said it before. My master chief is like, well, when you get out, this is what you need to do. And now I'm on this side and I'm like, that dude's still in the Navy. What is he telling me about getting out? He's still in, getting paid, getting benefits. And I realized they wanted me to stay.
Yeah.
They wanted me to go command senior chief. They wanted Al to do the same thing. They probably wanted you to go to command chief. They're like, you can affect. So they're trying to tell you how bad it is on the outside. And you're like, this. I'm like back in the recruiter's office. He's not out. He's in. And then you get out. But it is a different world, right?
It is different.
I feel like you got into a good position because you interviewed with a guy you knew, so you were in. But there's a ton of us, man. Al did it. I did it. I'm sure Ty did it. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sure really overqualified.
Yes.
And then we go, I don't want your job. I don't want to be in charge of anybody. I don't want to be the boss. I just want to do what I do and go home. I haven't done that in 20 years.
Yes.
I don't want to be responsible for everybody that's doing something. I want to have purpose. And purpose for me is work. And they're like, I don't believe it. Like, I'm not trying to, but they still think. But you know what the kicker is, right? It's this interview question. Your employee came in today and they're having a bad day. What are you going to do? What's our answer?
So this is why I tell them, this is why I have denied all promotions. I want to tell them, fuck you, go the fuck home, blah, blah, blah. But this is why I don't want to be a supervisor, because that's what I'm going to tell them. But if I have to be a supervisor, then tell me about it. Why are you having a bad day? Why do you not feel good? Blah, blah, blah.
What's going on at home? Is everything okay with your family? And when they hear that in an interview, they're like, wait a minute. What did you just say? Like, yeah, we're taught the person aspect. Something outside of where we're standing right now is the problem. It's not what's in this room. Otherwise, you'd be the same.
Yep.
What's going on outside? So we're taught to care outside, right? We're trained that way. Whereas when you look at the other part of it, it's like, I got to get this promotion. I'm climbing this ladder. I want to be the great in the corporate world. I'm going to do these things. And me and Al talk about all the time is like, geez, dude, how is it that that's not your first thought? The first thought is, well, like you should have called me if you wanted a day off. Like, what? But like, why do you need a day off? And that answer instills fear in that manager that I'm going to take their job. And I'm like, I don't want it. I'll give you all the credit. They're like, there's no way anybody in the world would do that. Have you met a military guy? We do shit all the time. That's our idea, and give somebody else the credit.
Yep.
But they don't see that.
And I tell people all the time, 10% of your people take up 90% of your time, and you only have 10% of your time for the other 90% of your people.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that 10% is getting the job done. Right. And that's the 10% you have no time for. But this 90% that you're always fucking with, they're not doing anything, but you got to pay attention to them. But they're not the ones completing the things you need. And it's just, I've learned it.
Yeah.
Civilian world's like the military world. I was talking to Becky one day, my wife, and we were talking about that. And I was like, you don't understand what it's like. Like, I did this thing for 20 years and I walk away and it's gone. And she was like, you think you're not the only one that does a job for 20 years and walks away? What do they feel like? And I was like, shit. Not like me, right? Not like me. They don't know. But then you think about it and you're like, oh shit, what do they do? Here's the difference. They got a 401k. They've invested. They don't teach us about TSP. They're like, go fight this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We train you to do your job. You're efficient at doing that. You're very effective at doing that. But now it's time for you to go in the civilian world. You'd be all right. Listen to your Master Chief that's still in the Navy.
Yeah.
He'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, man, that's not what to do.
But I will tell you, I got lucky, right? So I was out for a couple of years and somebody asked me to help write an eval, an SOQ package. And then they let me know how that turned out. And they won SOQ for the first time.
Yeah.
They got a good eval. About 5 years of being out, I had somebody reach out and ask for a charge when they made chief.
Oh,
and I was like, you know what? This is why I did it.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, you don't have to get all those accolades.
But who were those? Who were those people?
They were second classes and third class. They were my junior people.
They were the people you made a difference in and impacted, right?
Yes. Yes.
And it's amazing how that comes back.
Yes. Kind of like, so when I got at my Navy command, right? I had a lot of first classes that were terrible. So I made a second class in LPO and I caught so much grief.
Oh yeah.
They're like, we have these first classes that aren't even in LPO. And I was like, well, it's because they're not doing the job.
It's called positional authority, bro.
Thank you. And I said, if they can't do the job, but I can teach this person. And then they used to hate it because I would teach them so much. And I said, look, I could get hit by a goddamn bus tomorrow.
Yeah.
Who's going to do the job?
Train your replacement.
Thank you. Bingo. Right on the head.
Always.
Train my replacement. And I used to catch so much grief, but that was my philosophy. Train them. So I used to make them write the evals. And I used to give them feedback on the evals, not just they turned in an eval, then we did all this, and then here's the final eval. And they never got feedback. No.
Yeah, but you know how it went, dude. Oh, you write good evals? There you go. There's the stack. We'll see you next week. And this one dude is writing evals for people he's never met. And they get promoted. And then you find out, fucking dirtbags. You're like, wait a minute.
Yep.
But all you're looking at is a brag sheet, right? So let's ask this. So for you, what I really want to talk with you now is where you're at now.
Okay.
And
okay.
She knows.
She can tell. Yep.
She knows. For you, coming out and going through everything you've gone through post-military, there's been a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know who's helped you get through a lot of that.
Yep.
So I would just love for you to talk about that.
Okay.
And let's go into it.
Well, but before we do that, I just want to say, here's what I met you in what 2019, 2020 maybe. Yep. So I think you were still in, and this is when you weren't still in. This is when you were doing that you were about to get that COO job. And I remember you were cooling your heels and you were like, what's next and everything. And I remember thinking that you were the kind of person I would like, even though I don't talk that much. You don't talk that, we don't small talk that much, but we have an understanding. everything you've been through with being an outstanding leader, all the different positions of leadership that you've done in the Navy, being the fact that you chose to wear Marines uniform. So that's a different lifestyle than probably the Navy, whereas it's different from the Army too. So what are some of the things that from there to now that have changed, and then like kind of move into, K9 for Warriors? What are some of the things that you've learned and you had to deal with? You said that your divorce was hard. You weren't prepared for transition, but what are some of the sentiments that you said, fuck this, I know I've got to get help? And then what ultimately led you to Astra?
Okay. So the first thing I will say is, so being active duty, and let's face it, being an alpha male, right? Being an alpha male, nobody wants to say they have a problem. Nobody wants to say they need help. And then let's go into having a security clearance, because you being in your job field, Al being in his, and so on and so forth, you being in yours, you got to have a security clearance. So you don't want to say these things because you don't want to lose your clearance. You want to still have the opportunity to get promoted and this and that. So you don't talk about the problems you have, because one, you're an alpha male, and two, you want to keep your security clearance. So you don't do it. But the first time I realized I had a problem was my ex-mother-in-law came to DC. We were taking her out to dinner. We were driving down the road, and something stuck out. And I was driving. My instinct was to jerk the wheel, right? Now, I was never a driver in any deployment, right? But because of all my deployments and all the things you're scanning for and looking for and this and that, you're looking for anything that sticks out. So it's just stuck in your brain, right? Now, did I react? No. But in my brain, all I thought about was, what if I would have jerked the wheel and flipped the car and killed everybody, to include my kids? So that was the first time I realized I had a problem. Again, I never drove a vehicle in Iraq, Afghanistan. But this night I'm driving, and because I see something that sticks out on the side of the road, mentally I have a reaction, but physically, thank God I didn't. So I finally went and got help. And one of the things I will also say, like I said, making chief in DC was good for me. Well, also finding out and reaching out for help for PTSD, which I didn't think I had PTSD. I just knew I had a problem, right? But reaching out in DC was also a great time for me, because you have all these centers of excellence, whether it's TBI, whether it's PTSD, whether it's an amputee, all these different things. You have all these centers of excellence where all this money is getting thrown in the DC National Capital Region. So the downside is, well, one, here's the great thing. And this is where people don't understand about the Vietnam era. There was no help back then. The only reason why we get help today was because of 9/11, because we got hit on American soil, that it's a real thing, that Americans know that we got hit on American soil. So there's the sympathetic American heart. So now there's money and there's awareness and there's this and this. This is why we get help today versus the Vietnam era, the World War I, World War II. There was no help for these guys, but we get it today. So luckily for me, being in DC, there's a lot of resources. The downside is, the reason why a lot of these things never get resolved is you see residents, and all they do is rotate out every year. So the downside is, I tell this guy my story, then in a year I get a new resident, and I'm telling them the same damn story. Then in another year, I'm telling another one the same damn story. So it's, you don't get help, right? It's just a cycle. And so I hit a roadblock at one point in time, because they wanted a talk therapist, right? And I'm on leave. I'm in a great mood, but I still go to my medical appointment. And this guy's like, well, tell me about this time on this deployment. And I was like, Doc, I really don't want to. I'm in a good mood, this and this. And he's like, well, but this is where we left off last session. And so I tell him about it. And I left with a headache and not so good mood. And then I'm like, see, this is why I don't come to treatment. I come to you to get better, not to come show up in a good mood and leave in a bad mood. So then I go see my other mental health therapist. And this guy was good because this guy challenged me, right? Like I remember one year for for Halloween, he said, hey, you told me you don't like Halloween. I was like, yeah. I mean, I don't like motherfuckers jumping out and scaring me, right? Much less with all the issues I'm dealing with. I don't want somebody to jump out and scare me. He goes, well, but your children live on a dead end street, right? He goes, so take them trick or treating just on that street. I was like, okay. So he would challenge me. He would help me work through things. He actually cared. The downside is I only got to work with him for like a year.
Yeah.
So then, like, I mean, I started getting, so the good thing is he kind of opened me up, right? But then I started having headaches and I started this, and things exacerbated. Then I get to meet this guy. Now, it also kind of freaked me out because they were sending me down in the basement of Bethesda. And like these guys have these hallways that connect this place to this place from back in the day. So I'm like, these guys are sending me down in the dungeon type thing. But this guy was an old doctor from Vietnam. And they do what's called biofeedback. And what they do is they make you bring up these memories and you get all amped up. And then they make you think that you're right here at the VFW post 8790. And you got to calm yourself down. They started doing this with NFL football players, with MMA fighters that are in the cage fighting, where they're all amped up. And then they make them think to bring themselves down. It was the best treatment I ever got because it makes you bring all these feelings and all these emotions, but then it makes you stop and think, where am I at?
Is that called immersion therapy or what is that?
They called it biofeedback.
Just biofeedback.
Biofeedback. There might be another term, immersion therapy or whatever, but they called it biofeedback. But that's what they did for me. And like I said, I got lucky. I don't know how I got this treatment, but this is what they did. They made you bring back all these strong emotions and feelings and then make you think, hey, I'm sitting here with Matt and Ty and Becky. Dude, chill the fuck out. It's okay. And oh my God, that helped, right? So I thought I was great, right? Then I leave the military. I think it's good. I think that's a chapter of my life. Then COVID hit. Okay. Now, here's where I realized in the civilian world where I had another problem. So in COVID, you're supposed to cover your face and keep social distancing, right? Well, these guys that would close the distance, I thought they were trying to kill me. Because what did I experience? These people that had their faces closed were suicide bombers. They were trying to shoot you. They were trying to kill you. So COVID messed me up. I was always grabbing my pistol. I was ready to smoke people. And then, I mean, like, COVID messed me up. And that's where I realized in the civilian world, like, dude, I have a problem. And so I finally started getting treatment for that. Like, I really realized, like, my PTSD was really, because again, you're alpha male, right? Yeah, man, it's blah, 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 blah. But then I really realized, like, I need something to deal with it. And it was crazy. So I would tell you, like, when I got out, my PTSD was rated at 10%. And my PTSD is 100% now.
Yeah.
It went from 10% to when I was truthful. It's my PTSD rating alone is 100% now.
So just to jump in, so you were 10% based off what you said originally?
Yeah.
And then after you went through everything.
Did you hear what he said? 100. He said when he told the truth.
But that's what I'm saying. So
When
I
he
just
told
want
how he
people to
actually
hear
felt.
that.
Yeah.
Is don't be a tough guy and say you're okay, because you'll get the help they'll try to give you the help you need if you're honest about it, right?
Yes.
It's not a bad thing. But again, alpha male, like I'm good. I'm the man. I got to take care of everything. I'm all right. There's no problem. So that I just wanted to emphasize that you're just like, when I finally told the truth, they were like, oh, you need all this stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Now the downside is, so yes, to emphasize that, I went from 10% to 100% just in PTSD alone. Now the downside to that is they try to treat you with medication for the most part.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't mind, leads me into Canines for Warriors. So a good buddy of mine through the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, I'd heard him speak, and I've met all kinds of people that went through service dog programs and it just did not work out. And a lot of them are, hey, here's a dog, here you go, blah, 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 this and this. So I had met a guy and I had heard him tell his stories and this is this. And I was like, okay. But then one night he invited me out to dinner with his family. And he's like, hey, look. And he told me his story, one-on-one, personally.
Yeah.
To where, like, he couldn't go out in public until he got a service dog. So I was like, well, I don't think I'm that messed up, right? And he's like, well, but there's a wait list. There's like a 4-year wait list. And I was like, okay, so maybe I'll do it, right? Because there's a wait list. So I signed up, and when I signed up, and don't get me wrong, the process is not easy, okay? For this program I went through, I can't speak for every program, but for the program I went through, it's not easy. You got to take this application. You got to go get it filled out by your regular PCM. You got to get it filled out by mental health. You got to fill out all this stuff, and then you got to send it to Canines for Warriors. They review it and blah, blah, blah. But when my application got approved, there was a 4-year wait list at the time. And I was like, cool. Because one, I don't even know if I want to do this. I rode a motorcycle all the time. That was my therapy. Wind therapy was my therapy. I loved hanging out with my combat vets. This is how I met Ty. I met Ty through the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have met Ty. Ty's actually that brought me into the VFW community. If it wasn't for him, I don't know if, well, I'd already joined the VFW, but I was not an active member until I met Ty. And to meet some of the resources and some of the other people through the VFW. I wouldn't have never met you had it not been from Ty and from going through these different things, right? So I finally filled out the application, this, and this. Well, then they opened up a San Antonio campus because Canines for Warriors has a Florida campus. And then in 2022, they opened up a San Antonio campus out in Helotes. So it cut my wait time down from 4 years to 2 years. And I was like, okay. And then finally in February of 2023, I got a class date of November of 2023. And then I was like, man, do I want to do this?
So before you go there, what was your reservation about doing a program to get a service animal?
I'm here by myself. I have no commitments. I have nothing holding me back. I can get up and go do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell
like
I
a
want.
burden?
Yeah.
Like having another kid, you
Yep.
got to take care. Okay.
Yep. I have no commitments. I can get up and go do whatever I want, whenever I want. If my kids live in another state. So if I need to go to them, I can go to them. This could hinder that.
Jump on the bike, go where you want,
Yep.
get that wind therapy. You'll be all right.
Yep. Go do
Okay.
whatever. Yeah.
What made you decide it was the thing to do?
So from hearing him and to hear hear his story of combat and the things that he went through, to see how he could now function in public and his journey, I was like, okay, my journey's not as extreme, but maybe this will help me get to a little more sense of normalcy.
Now, when you met him, did he already have the service animal? When you met him?
Yes.
So he'd already been through that journey.
Yes.
He's been on the program. It's Jody, right?
Yeah.
It's
But what
Jody
I'm saying
Rebels.
is, so you heard his journey prior to that, and then okay, got it.
Yes. Yep.
I mean,
So
I
Jody, got it.
can talk to that a little bit. Like you could tell from the platform that Jody came from when he would talk about it to the CVMA guys. You could tell that it had helped him exponentially because he had talked about some of the things that afflicted him before he got his, I forget the name of his dog before he got his
Donna,
right. And then when she had all the health problems, I mean, it tore him apart. And so you see that and I've seen it with you, Chris, is the bond that you create is something that is unlike anything in the world, because that's what you needed at the time. And that's what I think is beautiful when Zip Tie talked about it, when Jody talked about it, I mean, and then when you talk about this, there's such a calm that I see on you that we never had before, because you talk about being the alpha male. Like, we were pretty excitable people when we were riding motorcycles and around a lot of other people like that. And there were times when I think you used the word exacerbate. I think we allowed each other's afflictions to exacerbate our own afflictions. I know it happened with me. I don't know if you can speak to that a little bit, but talk about a little bit specifically when you got the dog, when you received your animal, what was that like the moment that you met her?
Okay, well, so leading up to it all, and if I can, let me name drop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So part of me, there was still more reservations, right? So I kind of got notified that I could possibly get a dog from Lance McCullers Jr. of the Houston Astros. He had donated a dog before through Canines for Warriors. And so part of me was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I get a famous dog, right? This is a picture of the Houston Astros. I want this. I didn't want that. Right.
Yeah. It's a burden, dude.
Yeah.
You have a lot to live up to at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wasn't sure. So then I started doing history on Lance McCullers. And I was like, you know what? This guy wears number 43. My number was 34. This guy entered the major league draft in 2012. Well, I got blown up in 2012. Well, I'm going to graduate in November. At the time, I thought it was on my birthday. So I was like, you know what? Maybe this is meant to be. So I decided to go ahead and do it. And let me tell you. So, and through the process, right? So Canines has what they call a pairing process. So long as you are honest on your application, kind of like, again, like I said, when you're honest with your mental health, you're going to get what you need. Hopefully. So on my application, I was honest. And what they do is they take the dogs that are available and they take your needs and they try to pair the dog that you need with the dogs that are available to match your needs. And then when we got paired, they call it dog day. And you get paired with your dog. And the first thing they tell you is just go to your room and go love on your dog, right? Now, when we first got paired, she was super thin and I was super nervous, but she loved on me, right? And then this, and this. And then we just start training together. And all she does is look at me and take care of me and this and that. And I mean, even up on the graduation, these guys had even said, like, I have not seen a pairing like this in a long time. The pairing just fits. And I think the reason why the pairing fit, and don't get me wrong, so let me back up a little bit. So I went through, there was originally 3 guys in my class. There was me, a guy from Pearland, and a guy from Hawaii. Well, the guy from Pearland, mentally, he wasn't ready to go through the program. And they tried to work with him, right? But it just was not working out. So they ended their training and said, you can come back at a later time. And then the guy from Hawaii, it kind of worked out because there was 2 houses out there. So I had one house, he had the other. So he could talk to his family on Hawaii time and I could have my house and we didn't interrupt each other. But this guy lived a life of on the beach and hunting and fishing and stuff. And his dog was super lazy. Well, this girl's super active. So even in the training, I'm like, bro, we got the wrong dogs. Like, you need this active dog and I need your lazy dog. But no, these guys knew what they were doing. They knew I needed an active dog that's going to pull me out of the stagnant lifestyle of being lazy and being a hermit and hiding and just staying in. And they needed a dog that would ground him and bring him down. So they're pairing, what they call the pairing process of finding the dog that you need, has just been spot on.
I mean, like, for you, you probably thought, I'm out there already. I'm riding bikes. I'm going around. I'm good to go. And so then they were like, no, you need to be out more. You're probably like, excuse me? I'm out all the time.
Yeah. But I did say I needed a dog that loved me.
Yeah.
Right. And I will tell you what, that's what she does. is she loves me. She greets me. She is there for me. And that is what I needed. And on the flip side, I am there for her. Like I tease her sometimes. I'm like, are you there for me or am I there for you? But it's that bond we have built that we know each other so well. And I wouldn't trade her in. And don't get me wrong. So this is one thing I will say about anybody that gets a service dog. It is not a magic pill that just fixes everything. You're going to have your trials and tribulations. Like I've had vet bills, right? I have insurance for her so that when I have a vet bill, she is a dog. She's going to get sick. She's going to do this like a child. So it's not a magic pill. It's not a fix all, but it is a tool. It is a tool to help you get to a little more normalcy than not having one.
Yeah. So
he told me the story of the pairing about I think you need this lazy dog and I need, you need this active dog. I need that lazy dog when we were on the front yard. He's throwing her a ball. She's running all around my front yard and he's telling me this story. And the whole time, like he's looking at her and like she's intent on, or he's looking at her and she's intent on everything he's doing. And, I'm nervous because we're out near the road, but like the bond between them, you can see, and it brought me so much joy and peace to see that, right in the front yard, because there was other times where, some conversations we had were not so nice. We were talking about much more destructive things, people and events and things like that. So to see that joy in your life after knowing you for a short time, we didn't serve together, but we shared, like you said, VFW, CVMA, and there's the little tools that you get. This tool ended up being a big tool for you, but that's what we love to do, is hear the stories. So someone can know that this is a possible thing that could help them.
So real quick though, we've talked about her. She's amazing. What's her name?
Astro.
If you want, we should show everybody Astro because she's amazing. We got cameras here that we can turn around. Look, she's up.
Yeah, she heard her name. She knows. You want to look at the camera?
There she is.
Yeah, it's okay.
There she is.
That's amazing.
She knows. Good girl.
Yeah, you could tell, like during the night when the inflection would change in your voice, she would look at you, she would give you the side eye, and then I'm looking at her as she's looking at you, and she's doing it right now. She's, oh yeah, everything's good. That tone of voice is fine. I'm picking up on all your stuff. Are we ready to go? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's the key though. So when you look at her tonight, there's been times where you've said something or you've moved a certain way and I've seen her get up.
Yeah.
And she's looking.
Yeah.
And then you keep talking and she goes, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can tell that there's the bond there, man. That's amazing.
Well, and so she could tell when things bother me. And that's typically when she gets up, right? So there was one time, like you're asking about a podcast, right? Like there was one time I was doing a podcast and I was doing it with my cell phone and we didn't have all this fancy equipment and this and that. But they had me tell a story and it bothered me. And there's a command, right? There's a command. See, my lap. Up, Astro. Come on. And so when we give them this command, right? When the dogs put pressure, they call it deep tissue pressure. And they put it on your thighs, it releases the endorphins and this and that. Sorry, she got down.
Oh, she was there.
Yeah. But so when I was doing this podcast and I started to go tell the story, like she could sense it in me because it was one of my first times kind of getting into it. And she jumped up there and I told them, I was like, look, this is live. This isn't scripted. Like I didn't give her the command. She just did it on her own.
She got prompted by your biometrics.
She can just feel it, right?
She could feel it and she just jumped. Yeah. She was calming me down. And that's kind of one of the cool things about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey man, I tell you, I've appreciated having you here. I think since we're paying the bills here, literally, that it's about time to go. But this is one of the longest podcasts we've had, and I think having you here live is a new dynamic. So thank you very much for doing it with us. I
think I just got spoiled.
You're a member of the family now. I think you're going to be one of the squad leaders of the Triple Threat Vet Platoon. So we really appreciate you coming here and sharing the story.
You just ruined it
Oh,
for everybody else that comes after you.
yeah.
Well, the only thing that I hate is we talk too much about me and less about her. So the only message I want to put out to you guys is, look, a service dog makes a massive, massive difference for some people. For some people, it's life-saving. For me, she wasn't life-saving, but she was life-changing. Again, it's not a magic pill. It's not a magic fix or whatever, but it is a tool that could change your life. One of my biggest things about the motorcycle world was we would drink a lot. And my motto was fucking or fighting. That was honestly my motto, and I wanted to do one of the two. Now, I'm calm, cool, and collective again, which is what I like to be. So that's the only thing that I hate. So I'm glad it was good for you guys, but that's the only thing that I hate is that we talk too much about me and less about what she has done for me.
I would just like to tell you, though, like Al brought up to you, all the people that you trained during that time to go in deployment saved a lot of lives. The fact that she's here with you allows you to tell your story and get your story out there to everyone. And
Part 2.
Gotcha.
yeah, and be that catalyst to allow you to be comfortable to share what you shared, right?
Okay.
Like they just wrote it on the paper. We can do this again.
Okay.
And we can talk all about Astro.
Okay.
There's probably too many things that we could even go into even longer about what she's done for you.
Okay.
And we can do that.
Yeah, I think you probably need a segment for Astro. Like if anybody comes on and has some issues that they have questions about it, we'll just call you up.
Absolutely,
And,
man.
it will call you up and bring
Just be
you on
ready.
real quick. Yeah.
So I will do it because, again, this is my way of paying it back.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I agreed is to pay it back.
Oh, for sure. We have a veteran Buddha,
Mhm.
and now we have a veteran canine advocate.
There
right?
you go.
And so that's what it is. It's just a community we're building for people that can go. You would be a guy that goes, well, tell me why you think you need that. Not for you. Or you might want to investigate that. But that's part of what we're doing is we want to be able to offer all those opportunities to everybody, right? Because there's something that can help everyone.
Okay.
And that's the key, right?
Yes, sir.
And you can come back. You're now invited to drop in whenever you want.
Oh yeah, you'll be getting a link weekly now. So just pop in whenever.
You got some shit to say?
Okay, I'll
Jump
try to
on
figure
it?
it out by my phone. Yes.
Oh,
You can
got
do it on the
IT guy.
phone.
I'm the IT advocate for you, baby. I got you.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is Chris Luna, also known as Joker, great American, wonderful Navy corpsman, served multiple deployments, and his service dog Astro, who's been a change in his life. If you've seen the show, you've seen the K9 for Warriors link. Please, if you're interested in K9 for Warriors, if you're interested in a service animal, go on and check it out. It's real easy, very intuitive website. But
I just want everyone to know before we get out, Al Hero rung the bell. Just saying.
yeah, he bounced out. Sorry.
He rang the bell.
Any closing words there before we let you go there?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you, guys. It was an honor to be here.
All right. So go ahead and close us out there, Matt.
So another Thursday, another great story. One more time. Thank you to BFW Post 8790. All your support, allowing us to come in. We're keeping you late today. They're playing golf. You should do that.
Golf. September 27th. Go to
It's
VFW
a Saturday, guys.
8790.
Saturday. Go spend that money. And they're doing a gala. What are they
September 13th.
BFW going to go do a gala at? Get dressed up. Take your wife out. Make her feel special. And really go spend some money. Help some veterans. So these are things they got going on. Thank you, RG, for allowing us to come in here. Thank you, 8790. We appreciate you. Oh, and by the way, for all you other VFWs that were like, I don't know if we want to do this, we see what it's about now. And we'd love to do one live at your post too. So, we love you guys. We'll see you next week. And one more drop. Go buy some fucking t-shirts, please. We're trying to give money away. For Christ's sake. Love you guys. Thank you. Appreciate you.
So we'll have next week. We're going to have a Army and Navy. Sumes, they're going to be an Army and a Navy veteran. And after that, having some technical issues here. We do have coming up the 13th Sergeant Major of the Army coming up on 23 October, Kenneth Preston. So happy for that. We'll be doing some live shows every time we have a Houston guest, hopefully coming up. Love you guys. Thanks so much.
If you or someone you know is in crisis, contact the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255. Then press 1.